Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Edmund, your host for the next few hours, along with Mike.
Good Sunday morning.
And Bruce is here.
Good Sunday morning. I like that.
Have you been listening to Rick lately, Bruce?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Our number, 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And this morning's show is being brought to you by that vidblasterguy.com, Tom Sinclair, and by Adamus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. I was that close yesterday to say, guys, there's no show tomorrow. Oh, wait a second. Steve is here. I forgot.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen,
Good
boys
morning.
and girls, and welcome to the show.
How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. It's April the 27th, by the way, that Vidblaster guy.
Yeah, that's right. It is the 27th of April. So, it's been 2 weeks since I visited the ER with that kidney stone, and it still didn't
Check
pass.
your transmit level, Amnon. I can't hear you.
Oh, okay. Is that better?
It is.
Okay.
So go back and say whatever you just said again because I couldn't
I
hear
said, so it's been 2 weeks since I visited the ER for that kidney stone.
Ooh.
And it still didn't pass.
We're going to have to sonically blast it so that it can pass easier.
The doc said that it's supposed to pass no problem. He said it was 6 millimeter. It's fine.
I've got a drill bit.
You know. So
I've got a bit of hammer
yesterday,
or a sledgehammer, if you'd like.
yes. So last night, yesterday evening, going to the bathroom, I thought that I tapped into my heart with my bladder because it was all red stuff. And that's normally when you are about to, it's beginning to scratch and injure you on the inside, but it's about to pass. Well, it still didn't. This is what's the purpose of these things? They're just for nothing. Anyway, Mike.
But
I know what the purpose of them are. It's to make your life even more miserable.
Yeah, that's right. Did you have them?
I had touched wood. I haven't yet. No, I dare say they might happen, but I haven't had them yet. I've heard they can be very problematic and quite painful, so I'd rather not have them if given the choice. Thank you, though, for asking.
I don't know if I'm lucky or what. Last year I passed one, and it wasn't that painful. I mean, I knew that something is going wrong, and this 2 weeks ago I knew something is going wrong. The way that I felt, but I was worried more about other stuff, other parts of the body, not a stone. I thought it was something with heart or whatever, but it wasn't. That's what it was. And
Everybody
it was not.
get
It wasn't.
stoned.
Yeah, let's all get stoned, right? Mike, I was this morning when I was sitting here, I was listening to one of the past shows, and you were talking about the Skype ducking.
yes.
And I mean, when we're talking with each other, we can talk on top of each other and we hear each other as we are speaking. Or me and you. How about between you and Bruce?
Well, I'm not sure that we've ever tested it during a group call, but you and I are half duplex. If you and I talk at the same time, people cannot hear but one of us.
You think so?
I know so. Unless Skype has thrown out all their servers and created new software.
Why is it not going to work?
Why is it not?
Well, you see, now, first of all, you heard me, but you're saying that on the stream, it's not going out.
Oh, no, between you and me.
Well, I mean, you heard me. I was talking on top of you, and you heard me.
I only heard part of what you said.
Let me get. Keep talking. I'm going to get Nick here.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, what I'm saying to you is that the duplex functionality of Skype is excellent. It works really, really well. But if I were to play music and let you try to talk over it, you would not have much success, because music is more complex waveform than voice is.
Not only that, invariably it's continuous as well, isn't it?
Correct.
Good morning, Nick.
Good morning.
Good morning, Nick.
What's going
He
on?
lives.
I do.
Awesome.
So Nick has been the weatherman, was the weather guy yesterday.
So are you certified now, or did you fail?
I am.
You didn't fail.
No, I didn't fail.
What are you certified to do?
I don't even know.
Oh.
I'm not even sure if it's a real certification.
To let people know, or to let the TV station know when there's...
No, it's not just the TV station. It's in general, like general weather reports, I guess.
What's the difference between being certified and being certifiable?
One's Nick and the other one's me.
Let me tell you something. Nick twice now called warnings in our area while we were on a hangout before the TV station announced it.
Yeah, it's not hard.
And he's not in our area. He's in upstate New York. So he should be it's not a... Are you a trained spotter, or you are...
Yes, that's what I am. That's the word I was looking for.
Trained spotter.
A trained
Does that
spotter.
mean you have a link into the TV station to let them know about weather events?
Well, I already had that. But this is just more of a, like NOAA, the National Weather Service. That's just more of their certification. I already do the weather reports for the TV station. They just had an open house for everybody that does that. There was over 100 people there. It was great.
Oh, people love weather. I mean, it amazes me.
A lot of older people, which I thought was really interesting.
And many of them embrace the internet and other technology to be able to assist in doing so. There is a system here. It may be nationwide. I'm not sure.
Skywarn?
Yes. Is that nationwide?
That's what I'm certified in now. I'm a Skywarn spotter now. Yeah.
So do you have a two-way radio to participate?
I do not, but I'm going to be getting into that, actually. That's the next thing.
Does that require a license to operate that radio?
I would assume so.
Well, it used to, and then I understood that may have changed. I don't recall. I bought my wife a little radio. It was not expensive. It's a walkie-talkie two-way type radio that allows you to tune to the local Skywarn channel, which is on a repeater.
Yep.
But obviously she's never transmitted on it.
How much was the walkie-talkie?
$30.
Oh, okay. I'll have to pick one up then.
I forget the name of it. It's a real funky name.
But yeah, that's one of the ways that when there's significant weather, they do the reports, because phone and power are out.
The thing that what you're thinking about that they changed, Mike, I mean, obviously $30 is not going to allow him to get in from anywhere far.
Oh, yeah.
But I think
it'll allow him to reach any repeater, and they all operate off repeaters, Amnon.
I think what you're talking about, the license they changed, is that for a certain level, you don't need to do the Morse code anymore.
That's been true for a while, but someone said they eliminated the license to even become a ham.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know that that's true. I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm hearing, and I would be surprised if that is true. But I did hear that there were some significant changes in the law. We got hams in the chat, or not? We will have.
We will not yet. I don't.
Jeff posted the name of the one that I have. It is the Beifong Handy Talkie.
Yeah,
It was on-
I looked at it, $28 on Amazon.
Yeah, I mean and we bought it, and it's a neat little deal. It's not really intuitive to know how to work.
Yeah, there he goes. He says that it's
It's ham license, not true. You do need to be licensed.
Yeah.
I don't know what's changed. Something has changed. I think it's more than just the Morse code elimination, but I could be wrong. I don't know. I'm not a ham and not intending to become one.
When I was 10 years old, I wanted to be a meteorologist. And so for Christmas that year, my parents bought me this weather kit. And among other things, it had, of course, a wind direction instrument and an anemometer wind speed that we fastened to the roof of our house in Miami, Florida. Of course, 1960 was the year of Hurricane Donna. And I was in my bedroom, and these wires are going up the side of the house, and this anemometer is spinning. And the way you would count the wind speed is how many times this little red light would flash within 60 seconds. And so this hurricane's coming, and I'm counting these flashes, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, of course, as the wind picks up, the light's going faster and faster. And I think I got to about 110 miles an hour when it blew off the roof of my house.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, the weather in our community is pitiful. The way the weather people here do is they walk out of the TV studio, and if it's raining, they go back and report a 40% chance of rain.
I've got a good friend of mine who was in meteorology in the Air Force, and he got out and he landed himself a pretty good job in the field. Of course, he had a lot of experience, with flying conditions and things like that. But I think it's a fascinating field.
it is, and it always changes.
Yeah.
You have to be good at math, though.
Keeps you hopping.
Yeah, well, you're an expert at math.
Yeah.
But
But to be a TV meteorologist, you don't have to go to meteorology school.
Nah, you just have to be able to talk a bunch of crap.
Yeah.
You have to have a babe factor.
I don't know. We got Greg Fishel around here. I wouldn't exactly assign that to him.
And green screen expertise.
That's not hard.
Well, you do need to know how to conduct yourself in front of a green screen.
I know, but that's not exactly hard.
I tell you, the meteorologists in our area are extremely popular. They're popular on Twitter, on Facebook,
They are everywhere.
and they're posting regularly. They have a following. Good meteorologists also, I think, have a good sense of humor, and good social skills and mixing it up. That's my wife just is big fans of a couple of them here on the ABC channel, which in our area seems to have the best weather department.
That seems to be true in every market, at least every one with which I'm familiar. And I don't know.
ABC's got the best weather?
Who?
Or are you talking just... I don't know.
The local weather guy is popular in the community. They go out and do a lot of community events. They interact with the community. Our local guy here, the chief meteorologist is Greg Fishel.
Well, on the ABC, or is that CBS? I don't know what.
CBS network station, I think. They used to be ABC. But, I mean, I never watch them. We don't watch the local quote-unquote news anymore. My wife will watch it for the weather, but, I mean, they don't know. There's this guy here, and maybe I can find it, Nick. You might be really interested in this, and anyone who is in our regional area may be interested in it, too. And it's a guy or group or someone over in the Winston-Salem area who is I guess he's a hobbyist weather guy. His reports are almost always contrary to what the local weather guys on the TV stations are reporting. He's more right than they are. As a result, he's developing a following. It is NC Piedmont on Facebook. It's either NC Piedmont or North Carolina Piedmont on Facebook. And the guy gets it right. I mean, I don't pay any attention to that stuff because what are you going to do about it? I mean, NC Piedmont. Let's see what I've got here.
Does he do like a daily video weather report or anything on YouTube or something?
He has a web page he has a paid web page as well. Minor LA in chat can tell us more. I don't follow him. I like this page on Facebook, but I don't keep up with him. But he posts, for example, a link 9 hours ago where he's posting a chart that shows the potential. What happened to my video?
I just
shut
got a
off.
pop-up that says group video is unavailable.
What in the world happened here? I don't know. I mean,
I just restarted mine.
yeah,
As did I.
Yeah, Mike, you'll have to restart your video.
yeah. Just stop and start.
There you go.
All right. So anyway,
Thank you, Scott.
he posted 9 hours ago, tornado outbreak likely next week. Full comprehensive update now available at the link below. I'll post this link in chat. I haven't looked at it. Hopefully it's not porn or anything. But this is typically what he posts. She says she doesn't pay attention to what he's saying when the weather is calm. Well, okay.
Yeah,
That's
no, this
logical.
outbreak is actually happening right now.
But the guy, whoever he is, he's figured it out. He probably just watches the local weather guys and takes the opposite position because he'd be right more often than he'd be wrong.
Well, all the severe weather is done by the Storm Prediction Center, and they're pretty damn accurate for the most part.
Right. It's. I mean, I really don't think that the local the meteorologists. I don't know that they need to do any more predictions because it's all done by computers and models, and they just pick up whichever.
Au contraire.
What?
Au contraire. They get the model in. I see this, but I really don't believe this is what's going to happen. Just because this upper level disturbance has shifted from east to southeast at 14 knots when it was predicted by this computer model to be 23 knots as a result. So no, I disagree. Think about it. If they don't get in there and offer their own little opinion, why not just have this computer
that's
robot?
fine. They do offer their own opinion. I was going to say they take the models and they see what this one says, what this one says, what this one says, and they form kind of like, okay, in my opinion, this is what's going to happen. But again, this is not scientific. I don't think it's more. Well, yeah.
What does scientific mean?
Before
What does scientific?
before computers were helping them, they had to kind of like figure out from maybe.
No, there's always been computer satellites helping them with the weather, for the most part.
Well,
You can't predict the weather days in advance without anything to reference.
right,
it off.
and they
You can't
didn't
look-
do it that far
Exactly,
in advance either. Yeah.
You can't look outside and say, "Oh, in 4 days we're gonna have a thunderstorm."
They're still not accurate.
No, not at all. But there's no way to be accurate.
Like Imus used to say, "You want the weather? Look out the window, Brainiac." It's
But you guys are under the gun for Wednesday. So Wednesday will be your day.
Are we all going to die?
I don't know.
It amazes me that these guys think they can predict the weather 4 or 5 days in advance. They never get it right, yet they're predicting global warming in 100 years, and we're supposed to take immediate action.
Well, now there's a difference between predicting the weather and predicting an outbreak.
Right.
This predicting the weather is just a circle on a map. It's not anything specific. And this stuff is highly accurate compared to actual weather reports, for the most part.
Historic tornado outbreak next week from south central to southern United States.
Well, it's definitely not going to be significant or a significant outbreak.
so. Nick, they took you through the TV stations. I see the set.
Yeah, that set's awesome.
Did
That whole wall on the left is made. Each big monitor is made up of 4 smaller monitors.
yeah, like those walls. Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It looks great.
I'll be flying out to Oklahoma City
Oh, I'm jealous.
second weekend of May, and of course they had a lot of tornadic activity last season. So
If you're out there and you need to find news, Channel 4 is the place to go.
mhm.
Why?
They're
What's
cheap.
magic about Oklahoma City?
Their weather there is unbelievably, like,
Active.
unpredictable. Yeah, it's just their weather's bad.
So I want to go back to the ducking. I'm really
What about it?
I'm really curious about that. I know that when, like, if Steve talks and one of you guys talks, you don't hear him.
Well, that's also because you're doing a mix minus on a different machine.
Whatever the reason, but I'm wondering if here, if Nick and I talk at the same time
Over the live
it-
stream,
it-
you're gonna hear yourself because
You're
your
going to hear
mic.
the louder of the two.
Yeah, but if he's listening to the live stream, he's going to hear himself because he's feeding his mic directly into the mixer.
let's try. You count from 1 to 10 fast.
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10.
Okay,
You were both.
guys
it was
on
only
the
one of you at a time. We could
Yeah.
only hear one of you at a time.
Now that's in
Okay, I
Skype.
could
On the
hear you
live
both.
stream, they will hear Amnon because his mic is plugged directly into the mixer. So
who
there's no way
did
it
you
would
guys
duck.
hear both of us, or you heard?
We could, but it was
both of you.
choppy.
No, not you. I'm asking the people in the.
The Amnon, the live stream will hear you. You will not duck on the live stream.
That's not.
There's
good.
no way Skype can duck your mic channel directly to the feed.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, look what Minor LA says. She said she heard both.
Yeah, but Amnon, your mic isn't going through Skype, so of course your mic's not going to duck.
Oh, so you're saying if you and Mike
How-
will talk on each other, then
Yes,
it will?
yes. Yeah, because your mic is going directly into the mixer. So how would Skype duck that to the live stream?
Okay. So let's try it with you and Mike counting till 10.
All right, go. 1,
2, 3, 4,
4,
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
10.
I heard both of you. Now I don't know what happens on the.
Well, we're on a group call. That may not be the same ducking.
Well, that would be interesting to find out, don't you think?
Now they're still
could be.
ducking here.
It's still there, but
Minor LA says she heard both. So
well, I understand that. And with all due respect to people listening, you have to know what to listen for to hear it in a perfect test. The problem is whenever there are certain audio streams that really interfere with both.
Mike, you
if
just
I was to start playing music, it would be bad.
Mike, you just said something. You said that maybe Skype group video is different.
It may be. We've never tested that
Right.
I recall.
Yeah. Now, with Steve, it probably is going to be different because I know you. It's always. I
gonna
mean,
be,
the
it's me.
group, the group video always trumps him for some reason.
Go on, and I'll count
Like
to 10.
my- like
Tell
Nick
me when
said.
you're ready.
And
What?
there's also another aspect to it too, Amnon, in that sometimes it's worse than others, but it's always there.
Come on, don't let. I want to show off. I can count to 10 too.
All right,
So you and Nick, on your mark,
Go.
get set.
One,
Go.
1,
1,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I didn't hear Steve at all.
I didn't either.
I didn't hear Nick at all.
I heard both of you, but a little bit less of Steve.
Yeah. So that's all it's saying is that it's not a perfect solution.
Okay,
But
what
if
is
you
this?
use my Skype no ducking response, everyone would hear both with each other at the same time.
We wouldn't be able to do that with group video, though.
Interesting.
Actually, you probably could.
Even
We need to try it out of. I mean, at different time.
I mean, Amnon,
where-
if you seriously want to get rid of ducking, the ideal way to do it would be to have everybody on their own Skype machine. That would probably be the easiest way to do it.
Well, no, that wouldn't do it. In fact, that'd make it worse. What
I
you'd have to
wouldn't.
do-
Don't worry. I'm not about to do that.
But it's a technical. He's correct in thinking this thing through. In that the way we do it on Rick's show on Saturday mornings is Rick is coming to me on Skype, and I'm sending return audio to Rick on a SIP client. I can Blink or Brio, whichever one I'm using. And he can, when I start playing music, he hears it in his headphones. When he starts talking, the level in his headphones does not change. It's totally independent of him talking.
And there's always return audio, but the return video is just video, correct?
We don't do video.
No, what I'm saying right now, when I'm not sending you return video, but I do send you audio.
Correct.
Yeah, we need to try it outside the show and do some music and see, because
Yep.
it'll be interesting to find out.
Well, we actually did it once before, Amnon, and again, it's like this microphone test that I posted. Not everyone can hear it.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If you can't hear it, then that's good to some extent because you
Right.
can't tell the difference. When you can hear it, it's like being a painter and walking into a room. If you can see all the brush marks, then you don't appreciate the work that's been done.
Correct.
If you can't see the brush marks, then it looks great.
Yep. And yesterday I had some interesting 2 hours here. Remember, Nick, we were talking about switching back to let Windows, best appearance and Arrow and all that
Yeah.
for video. Apparently, Mike, do you know how we always set up we set up Windows to do best performance in the advanced settings to get more power? Well, they were talking about the video tearing on the IIB, and Tom Sinclair said that he thinks he found the cure, and what he did is he set up advanced settings to do adjust for best appearance.
The ripping and the tearing. The ripping and the tearing.
Exactly.
Well, you mean arrow mode?
Well, now let me tell you something. Setting it up to best appearance does not turn arrow mode on. That's why
Well, you should turn arrow mode on because arrow mode gives you better.
Nope. It
Yes.
does not. No. It does not mean that it's going to turn it on because I did it and it did not turn arrow on. I didn't have
No,
any.
I'm aware, but I'm saying arrow will give you better performance.
Oh, okay.
That's just how arrow works.
So I went ahead and I turned it on, and I don't see any transparencies. And I'm saying, okay, arrow is not on. What's going on? And I started looking and found out that I also disable ADM, which is what is the ADM, right?
I don't know what ADM.
The desktop video management or desktop management, something like that. If you look in your status, if you go to Control or Delete and Task Manager, you'll see ADM, and there is a service in the services in Windows 7, and I'm assuming in Windows 8, that's called ADM.
I don't see it.
I don't want to start playing. Look in services. Do you have
I'm
desktop?
looking in services.
Desktop something. It's desktop. It's the only thing that starts with desktop,
There's nothing here that starts with desktop.
and that's Windows 7.
Yep.
Interesting, because I did have it, and that's what they say. So Arrow does not work without that being. So I turned it on, and sure enough, everything started working. And let me tell you something. Instead of running idle without streaming, just having the screen up for Computers 2K Now and using the VVD and the video out, but not really streaming, normally it runs about 50%. It was running 26%. I said, great.
Yeah, Amnon. I mean, arrow mode is for graphics performance, not for CPU performance.
Okay. But there's one big problem. It locks up right away.
Well, other than that, how does it work?
I mean, the picture kept on hanging. In Wirecast, in VidBlaster, like if I started switching between shots, that's it. It locks up the system. I tried all kind of different ways to. I didn't want to mess up the system, but I tried to eliminate this and add this, and then went back to the way that I always did it. But the truth, and now I don't know if it went down to 26% or whatever because things stopped working. That's also a possibility, that it just things stopped working and it went down and then it locked up. But I couldn't, I mean, there was no way that I could use it. So went back.
That's because you're supposed to put it in aero mode, then open your applications.
Supposed to
put it in aero mode, then open your applications.
I rebooted and did all. I mean, I did everything. And I'm assuming, I mean, the way that I knew that aero was on is when you see transparencies, right?
Correct. Yeah. All the
Yeah.
stuff will become transparent.
Now, on the Wirecast machine over there that I'm doing the rebroadcasts, I did it exactly like you said. I mean, the minute I turned on, let it do best appearance, everything went transparent, aero mode is on, and everything is working. Apparently, on this machine, with the tweaking and everything, I also turned off that ADM. Somebody do a Google on ADM Windows 7. Now I'm... Because you can turn it on and off.
Let me tell you something I learned yesterday. You know, if you use XSplit or VidBlaster or Wirecast as a virtual camera to a Google Hangout or a Hangout on Air, you may have noticed, as I have, that something really messed up with frame rates. There's been a lot of discussion on forums about this. And people have been trying to figure out what's going on, and people saying, it's the new version of the video switching software, whether it be XSplit or VidBlaster or Wirecast. But I was thinking about this yesterday and said, when did this start happening? And it dawned on me that this frame rate issue began when Google Hangouts rolled out this Auto HD feature. And so, if you're using any of these three video switchers as a virtual camera, you know that the best resolution to send to a Hangout on Air is 640 by 360. But if you have Auto HD turned on, it just kills your frame rate. And so yesterday I said, let me turn Auto HD off and see what happens. And it immediately cleared up. Frame rate was great. Videos played smoothly. So if you're using any of those three programs as a virtual camera to a Hangout or a Hangout on Air, and you want better frame rate, turn off Auto HD. If you click the blue hyperlink to turn it off, it'll bring that little slider down one notch, and it clears up everything. And my video was still good. So just a little tip if you use those with Hangouts.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm not seeing anything on the ADM. I'm going to go and see on this machine if I have the disk.
Maybe you shouldn't study technology when you're trying to pass a stone. You're not thinking clearly, So what do you guys think about this FCC chairman and this net neutrality stuff that came up this week?
Oh, the internet's ruined.
No, I think we should be thrilled that the government has surveyed its voting population and they want to do what's absolutely best for me as a consumer.
Yeah, and the FCC chairman is a former cable TV.
Well, don't be negative, Bruce.
Yeah, Bruce, come on. What's wrong with you? How dare you?
There's some great articles on this, whether it's, Engadget, PC World. Of course, one of my favorite is the EFF organization. But, so, yeah, I heard your tongue-in-cheek comment, Mike. So do they really care about us,
Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh. I'll be back.
Comcast, Verizon,
AT&T. Actually, hold on, Mike, before you start, watch what you say. I was complaining about this on my show Thursday, and my bandwidth went to garbage.
Well, you know what? If if they have to pull my plug to shut me up, then that's the way they're going to have to do it. Because unfortunately, when my mouth starts running, it's really hard to catch it and slow it down. That being said, and I hate to be so cynical about it, but I don't believe that the cable companies give a rat's behind about their customers. I think it's all about how much money they can make, and I'm not saying that to sound as kooky as it sounds, because they have an obligation to make a profit and return that profit to their stockholders. In my opinion, they get their priorities out of order, and instead of trying to serve their customers and become a model company that individuals enjoy doing business with, I think they just run their computer models, get their bean counters in there, and it's like Nabisco and these other companies figuring out how they can drop an ounce out of the potato chips once a year for the next 10 years, and they end up with a $4 pack of potato chips with 2 ounces of potatoes in it. I don't think it has anything to do with the consumer. I hope they prove me wrong, and if they do, I'll gladly admit it. And I guess the other part of that is, do I think the FCC is influenced by the cable companies? Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know the state government is. I mean, the local cable monopoly got a bill passed in North Carolina that made it difficult for possible for municipalities to bring high-speed internet into the communities. And it's like I say, that our state government has saved us from the evils of high-speed internet.
You know, one of the great things is that we have shows like this and websites like 3 of the tabs that I've got up right now, where people are blogging about this, tweeting about this, Facebook posting about this. This stuff can't be done in the dark anymore. You know, the other thing, coupled with the Supreme Court's decision, what it's going to end up being on Aereo, is going to really be interesting to see over the next few months what happens with all this.
What makes me laugh is what one of the politicians were saying in respect of why isn't it more transparent, and why aren't we seeing more about it and having the public interests taken into account. And their answer to that was, oh, we're keeping it secret. We don't want to make it an open public discussion because they won't like it. Well, surely that should give you even more reason to open it to public discussion. Just because you think they won't like it, that's not an excuse to keep it secret.
It's even more endemic than that, because the United States government structure is a representative republic. And what that now means is that instead of our representative going to Washington and voting the way we want things to work, they get to go vote how they think we want things to work. That's the way it works.
Or they get to vote the way they've been taken out for meals and lobbied the way they want.
Oh, you're so sarcastic.
True, though.
But by the way, Mike, I was one side of the alphabet wrong to the other. It's WDM.
Well, that would matter whenever you're looking through something.
Yeah, I know. It's WDM. It's Windows Desktop Manager.
Weapons of destruction mass.
And I do not see that one under services. And it is not under processes.
Interesting. Yet you have Arrow on, right?
I don't know. I don't even know what Arrow is.
I mean,
What's
do
Arrow?
you have the status bar of each window that's open? Is it transparent? Do you see stuff behind it, or is it solid?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the top bar of each window that you have on the screen.
Is it transparent? Yes.
It is. So that
If I move it over something behind it, I can still see what's behind it.
Right. So that means you do have Arrow on. I don't know.
I've got WDI, WDI, WEB, WEC, WEC, WER, WERS.
No, that's WDM.
Nope. But now I've seen that, but don't recall when or where. Could it be related to your video card?
Oh, I don't think so, because they're saying that you need to turn it on in Windows.
I'm like not knowing.
No. Well, it's all right. No matter what I did, it didn't do anything.
By the way, one other thing on XSplit, they've released a new beta version, public beta. It's 2.0. And one of the interesting things about it is you can hover your mouse over one of the other scenes you've created, and you get a preview that pops up on the lower right-hand corner of your screen. So you can, if you want to double check before you click on it, what you're fixing to go to next is. It's pretty nice.
Brent said that Time Warner came out and worked on his cable for 6 hours last Saturday. Be real curious, Brent. What did they do for 6 hours? I mean, they could reroute the wire. They could bury the wire to my house and replace everything in 6 hours. I'm just curious what they did at your house for 6 hours. And did you feed them lunch?
The guys were probably just racking up hours.
They had a very slow boiling kettle.
They what, Steve?
They had a very slow boiling kettle.
I would be very curious to know because, I mean, I will. One thing I will give Time Warner is, I don't know, the demeanor, the attitudes, the friendliness of their reps has improved dramatically over the last 5 years.
But
used to, these guys came out, they were bitter, you could tell they hated their jobs, they were being run ragged. Now when they come out, they'll talk to you, they'll tell you a little information, they're conversational, so that part has improved. But having said that, a lot of these guys they send out are not well trained. They are not good techies, and their system operates so that they really send out people that I would suggest that most of the guys who make the first call are equivalent to a medical triage. It's there to go out there and to assess the situation and to do minor things that may be the majority of issues, like a connector unscrewed or a bad DVR. But the bottom line is they are not able to do anything really technical. That's why I had a relationship at that time with a guy who became the supervisor for my area. And with AT&T, I actually had the regional cable supervisor to come out here to solve my problem. They elevate it. When they get stuck, they elevate it. So a lot of times they'll get out there and they don't know what they're doing, and they'll say, yeah, I got to get the cable guy over here or whatever. That's because they don't know what they're doing or they don't have the tools to address the issue. And sometimes when the replacement guy gets there, then the problem is as predicted, or sometimes they go back and find the original problem that the first guy could not find. And I'm not even criticizing that system that much. They have to run the numbers through the bean counters to find out if that makes the most sense economically. And, I mean, I don't know how much of a burden it was to you, Brent, to have these guys around for 6 hours, but if yesterday being a Saturday and you having things to do, I don't know whether you had to stay around the house to let them in and check things, or whether you were able to leave if you would choose to do so. But they got to fix it. I mean, the cable companies are charging a whole lot of money for their services. You're paying for top-notch service, contrary to what they may think.
I sort of like lost some of the respect I had for Roadrunner support this week.
Why?
I've been having problems delivering email on Delta Force, delivering email to Roadrunner. We do many mailing lists, and every now and then I would look in the mail queue and I see that Roadrunner started saying, too many messages received this hour, try later. And
through your Roadrunner account?
No. I mean, it's not me. It's Delta Force. It's the server, the mail that all my customers are sending out to the world.
is on. You have your own mail server.
Yeah,
Okay.
and had it for now 12 years.
Right, but I was just
Yeah.
being clear as contrasted with the Roadrunner servers, because they shouldn't have any control over your mail server beyond bandwidth.
They don't control my bandwidth either.
Okay.
They have control because they can say, we don't want to get from this IP address, we don't want to get but so many messages every hour.
On your mail server.
Yeah, of course. I mean, every mail server can do that.
I know, but why would Time Warner have that control over your mail server? Maybe I'm missing something.
No,
but
that's
your
the
decision.
No, that's the control on their side. They're telling their mail server,
Okay.
if you get connections from that IP address, only accept so many every hour.
Intended for Amnon server.
Intended for Roadrunner users.
Okay, I got you. Oh, I see. I got you.
See,
got
it's
you.
like P.O. Box.
No, I got you.
So we waited and we did. We held back on putting all these SPFs and DKIM and all those signatures that you put on messages to show that they are legitimate. And we said, okay, you know what? It's time to do that. So we did that. It didn't help. So finally, I went and I tweeted. I said, look, guys, you're having a problem because, and we got to the point where we slowed down our sending out emails to 1 email a minute, only one concurrent connection to Roadrunner, which is way slow. And it still does the same thing. So I tweeted and I told them what we did and all that. And you know what the guy came back and said?
What?
Why don't you change your IP address? And I went back. No, he came back and he said, is this your account? I said, no, this is not my account. This is an ISP. We
Now,
are...
Amnon,
What?
Twitter probably wasn't the best way to communicate.
Well, I
to that
did.
Situation.
I did.
But I'm saying it probably wasn't the best way to do that. In this
I
Well,
don't know.
That's always...
This is more of a technical issue,
Right.
And
Yep.
that's where I believe calling them would have been better. When I
there
go on
was
Twitter and
no way. There was no way of calling them that I could get to anybody. I tried. That's why I finally said, you know what? I'm going to go on Twitter, and this way, somebody is going to call. Or say, and sure enough, he said, let's take it to a private, to regular email. So I'm explaining to him that it's an ISP. We have many customers, and these are mailing lists, and we check to make sure we don't send spam. And I explained to him, and been in business for years now, and all that. He comes back and said, "Why don't you change your IP address?" Here is a mail server. I mean, if mail servers start changing IP addresses, that's a bad thing. That right away it raises a flag. Here is the guy in support there who's telling me, why don't you change your IP address? And I went back and I said, why don't you change yours? He says, we can't. We're a mail server. I said, did you read what I sent you? That's exactly what this is. It's not my personal Outlook. This is a mail server at an ISP. Didn't hear back. I don't know
What?
if he got embarrassed or what, but I didn't hear back. That was Friday, though, so I'll wait till Monday and see.
These people, they don't care, Amnon.
It was it was amazing. So
Can I
I
ask you a question without sounding arrogant?
Oh,
Probably
absolutely.
Thanks, Mike. Why are you still using mailing lists? Like
Why do
I thought
I
those were-
use what?
mailing lists? I thought those were a thing of the past.
No, it's not. There's a lot of
the
nonprofits
email
that
lists
want
out
to
there.
do that.
Okay. I don't know. I've never really taken part in those. They were before my time.
Yeah, I mean, forums are nice, and I believe more in forums because it's pull technology versus push technology, that you are sending email to somebody and when they can just go to a website and check it. But a lot of these people, I mean, they want to have a mailing list. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons why we have so many is because there aren't that many ISPs out there that provide mailing list, listserv, mailman, whatever, all these things. And TalkShoe just died. Oh well. So it's just amazing that the technical people. I mean, they always, Mark. You tweet and you talk to somebody there. They solve your problem.
Yep.
This was said, nah. That's the guy either just didn't want to do anything or didn't know what he was talking about. As a result, though, I went and he gave me a link to their page, which I could never find searching for help about what you're going to. It's security.rr.com. And on that page, sure enough, there was a lot of information. So we started implementing some of the things that they are looking for. And I got introduced to a company called senderscore.org through that. And it's one company, Return Path and SenderScore. And if you go to senderscore.org, you can put your mail server IP address and you can see the score that your mail server has, and to see if it was sending a lot of spam and all that kind of stuff. So the score is 98, which is very, very good. And I told them, Roadrunner on the page was saying our whitelisting and all that is handled by Return Path, so you need to get in touch with them. There was no way to get in touch with them. It took you to a page that just, they're asking questions that have nothing to do with it. So through that, I did get to talk to a guy who turned out to be Israeli on the other side. And he explained and told me exactly what to do, and I did, and we'll see if that helps. But I was that close. See, Mike, you saying how do they have control over my mail server? I can tell my mail server, if you see any mail coming from roadrr.com, slow it down. And I was going to do that and let it build on their server, but said, they probably don't care.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They still get off at 5 o'clock.
But I mean, two can play at that game. And something changed in the last 3-4 weeks, because that's when it started. Yahoo changed their way of doing email, and they now require you to have the DKIM signature in the header that proves that it's legitimate. And we had problems sending to Yahoo. The minute we added that, no more problems with Yahoo. But with Roadrunner, it's ridiculous.
Roadrunner's a lost cause.
Yeah.
My daughter has been using a Yahoo email account for many years.
Yeah.
She had so many problems with it over the last few months. I sent her a text message and I said, the best thing for you to do is to get the heck away from Yahoo.
Yeah, go to Gmail.
There's still a lot of people using Yahoo for their primary email.
What was it I saw about Yahoo recently? They are a 40% investor in this Chinese company that is going to be bigger than Facebook, size-wise. And they're getting ready to be swallowed in wallowing in cash.
That's Baidu, isn't it?
What is it?
Baidu, is it? Baidu?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Rings a bell. I'm not sure if it's. Don't quote me. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either. But they gambled and won big, apparently, on this particular investment.
Maybe it'll work.
Well, but it's a Chinese company.
Right, but as far as how much money you have to spend for dinner at press, then it doesn't matter where it comes from.
There you go.
I see the owner of the Russian Facebook, Vkontakte or something like that, it's been taken over by the Russian president, and he's fled the country. They wanted him to give personal information and details of people that were saying things against the government and against some of the actions that they've been making. He refused, and now he's been ousted.
That's what's going on here, too.
Yeah. Shocking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shocking.
Shocking, yes, it is. Absolutely shocking. It's I saw a picture the other day. It's I can't think of where. It's probably on Facebook or something like that. It said something to the effect of, when I heard or saw about that, I thought someone should do something. Then I realised I am someone.
So
And
do
we all-
something.
We all are someone.
Yes, you are.
And how many times have we thought ourselves, individually, well, someone ought to do something about that? Well, yeah, look in the mirror.
So Netflix says that it's intent to raise monthly subscription price for new customers by $1 or $2 a month to help the company buy more movies and TV shows and improve service for its 48 million global subscribers.
Oh, so we should be excited about that.
We should.
Investors welcomed the announcement by Netflix, which had suffered from a consumer exodus and stock plunged after it announced an unpopular price increase in July 2011. The company's shares jumped 6.7% in after-hour trading to $371.97 after the company released plans for a price hike and posted a rise in first quarter profit that beat Wall Street expectations. First quarter profits are rising and you're raising price?
Timing is everything. Net neutrality, fast lane. Oh, we have to raise our prices $1 or $2.
Because we can.
I have never been more supportive of a company raising their prices.
I got up this morning saying, I hope Netflix raises their prices. That would be
No,
so
Mike,
good for
Mike,
the
it's
consumer.
$7 a month. The amount of stuff that they have on there,
Yeah.
you cannot beat that price.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
you ought to go to 70, Nick, don't you?
Well, then go ahead and let them go to 70. I just don't understand why everybody's so pissed off that they're raising their prices to $8 a month for new customers. Deal with it. It's $8 freaking dollars.
But you said
I'd pay 10 for it. I'd pay 20 for it with the amount of stuff that's on there.
it's not the fact that they're raising the price, it's the way they're lying about it.
It's for new customers. What do you mean?
Yeah, well, or maybe there won't be any.
There will be.
I don't understand why everybody complains about this stuff.
See, that's why we let you Yankees stay up north, because you come down here after all the taxes you guys pay up north. You come down here and say, wow, look how low these taxes are. They want to raise the tax 20% for the children, and you guys vote for it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
or
agree
you're
with Nick. It doesn't concern me, the price increase, but I also agree with Mike. It concerns me that they may not be being totally honest about the reason for the price increase, like get more movies. I mean, I think the service is very much worth it. And I don't know about when you say $7, it's $7.99 for me. So mine's already $8. So if it goes up to $9 or $10, I'm okay with that. I just want to make sure they're being honest about the reasons for it, because I'm going to be looking for more movie selections after the price goes up.
And if there aren't, then I think we have a legitimate reason to question what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they've got a right to do whatever they want. I mean, I'm not even complaining. I'm not even a subscriber. But all I'm saying is that
What do you mean you're not a subscriber?
I'm not a subscriber.
You don't have Netflix.
I do not.
So how do you watch stuff on Netflix?
That's another story. But the point being that I don't know, is my audio deteriorating?
The group hangout audio is deteriorating.
Okay. But if let's say that you're an avid movie watcher and you want to subscribe to Netflix, you want to subscribe to Amazon, you want to subscribe to Hulu Plus or whatever the others are out there. $1 here, $1 there, and pretty soon your movies have gone up from $100 a month to $150 a month. So a little dollar here, a little dollar there can add up.
Yeah, but I disagree with that completely. You look at the price of a cable subscription. Mike, how much are you paying just for cable through Time Warner Cable? So you're paying $50 a month for cable.
Mm-hmm.
Netflix is, I don't know if it's. Let me look. Is it $7.99 or $6.99 right now?
$7.95.
$7.99.
Okay. So that's like $100 a year for Netflix. Amazon Prime is like $100 a year. I'm not sure what Hulu is. So you're looking at $200 a year for Netflix and Amazon to watch TV shows and movies. And you're paying $50 for cable subscription. So you're spending $600 on cable. You could cut that and only spend $200 and get stuff from Amazon and Netflix.
Then you throw in a couple friends of yours that share their Plex servers with you. Like
Correct.
I've got two guys that are sharing their Plex servers, and I have access to probably 3,000 to 4,000 movies. Some of them real classic oldies, and some of them newer ones. Did you see this story about Hulu cracking down on VPNs to curb piracy? Hulu Plus?
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of people who want to watch Hulu but don't pay for it overseas, and so they use VPN. And Hulu has started to block those VPN overseas, especially the more common ones. And they're getting notices that say, disable your anonymizer in order to be seen as coming to the site with verifiable credentials. And there's some paying Hulu Plus customers who want to be able to watch their Hulu Plus channel when they're traveling overseas, and but they're beginning to block VPN access to Hulu.
Fine with me.
It's the thin edge of the wedge.
Mm-hmm. Talking
But
about
when is Netflix raising their price?
Well, they don't say when. They're just saying that they're planning on it. And they say $1 or $2, so they still don't know.
It's
How
still an
much?
unbelievable deal.
And talking about
Alibaba is the one I was trying to think of. Thanks, Tony. Yahoo's investment in Alibaba.
Alibaba.
Yep.
It's like eBay. It's like eBay.
Yeah.
Well, what about this?
Well, not really. It's for dealers, unless they opened it up to anybody. Alibaba is just a place for retailers to go and find quantity of
But
something
there's some
that they're looking for.
big numbers floating around with it.
Did you see this story in the Washington Post where Netflix is to become a real TV channel and get its own cable channel next week? They've signed an agreement with 3 smaller cable companies that for the first time will let U.S. subscribers watch the streaming video service content as though it were an ordinary cable channel.
So I think this is good, but the problem is cable looks like garbage.
Because of compression.
Yeah. So I have no problem with them doing this, but if it's going to look like every other cable channel, I don't know why you'd do it.
Quality is not important.
If you are, and most people do have cable at home, and
Most people
you're-
have internet at home too.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, if you're watching cable, and another company is coming up and it's cable quality, then there's no difference.
What's cable quality? Cable quality.
You're talking about cable quality is horrible.
It is.
Well, not when that's all you've been watching.
You don't know what's better.
Yes, but I'm saying, they're offering it to their Netflix subscribers, so the people that are probably going to have access to it have already watched Netflix online. It's not like a free cable channel. It's if you're a Netflix subscriber, you have access to it.
Right.
So if you're already a Netflix subscriber, you've already watched stuff online. That's what I'm getting to.
And is the quality of Netflix movies and media is better than what you get off of the cable channels?
Yes, Netflix quality is very good.
All right, have a question about that. And when did this country make the real switch to HD?
It still hasn't.
A year or two ago. No, they did.
Well, there's still a lot of stuff that isn't.
I
HD,
guess
though.
maybe I would say, when did the networks start having the majority of their content in HD? When would
I'd say maybe 5 years ago.
Because that's my question.
Yeah.
I have, for some god-awful reason, started watching Dexter. And it's quote unquote in HD, but it's not the quality HD like you would even see on cable. I'm thinking
I'm sure.
zoomed it.
Yeah, no, well, it's either that or when they shot it, it was very, very early HD and it just didn't look good.
It's not bad, but it's not good.
When was it? When was the what?
2007.
Okay, well, it was probably low budget at the beginning, so they were just using whatever cheap HD cameras they could find.
Yeah, it's not really good.
You know, but I mean, if you watch like for example, House of Cards, that's something that.
But that's only what, 3 years old?
No, House of Cards is 2 years old.
Yeah.
So that's something that's very, very high quality. They actually shot that show in 4K, I believe.
But my wife watches watches NHL hockey streaming on the Roku in real time. Best video quality on the television. I mean, she's listening, so I got to be careful, or I won't have anything else to eat today. But she is not. Let's say she's not a quality expert. She really can't hear the difference between a Wallensack microphone and a Neumann U48.
Oh, how dare her!
But that being
that's
said,
just shocking, Mike. How could you put up with that?
Well, you sometimes you don't want to marry your exact copy of yourself, so we're exact opposites. But
thank God.
Thank God for her. But that being said, whenever we were in West Virginia last week, she was watching a playoff game or something on TV, and while the hotel did have HD channels, most of them were HD, the particular channel she was watching was not HD, but it was being retransmitted in HD. So, I mean, it looked really bad. And she said, I can't see the puck. This is ridiculous. I can't watch this. And a year ago, she would have never complained.
No. She's learning. Too bad. See, when you don't know any better, you can enjoy something better.
Yep.
But you guys were talking about Hulu. Hulu apparently is worried that too many non-U.S. residents are using cheap VPN services to watch its U.S. programming. They started blocking IP address ranges belonging to known VPN services. Hulu didn't announce the ban, but users of the affected VPNs are getting this message. Based on your IP address, we noticed that you are trying to access Hulu through an anonymous proxy tool. Hulu is not currently available outside the U.S. If you're in the U.S., you'll need to disable your anonymizer to access videos on Hulu.
That's an easy fix.
Okay, so I understand that they don't want people from other countries, I guess, because it's not available in there. But this is why piracy happens, folks. Because these companies are so stupid. What if you have paying customers from another country? Why would you shut them out? You know what they're going to now go do? They're now going to go and pirate the TV shows. There's
a reason for that, though, Nick, because it's not necessarily the Hulu's problem. They don't have licensing from the studios for regions outside of the United States. Now, your point is well made in that maybe the licensing models need to contemplate technology in 2014 and get rid of that problem. But it may not be, Hulu may not have that choice.
They might not, but I mean, that's a problem.
Right. Their licensing models are antiquated.
Yeah.
And I agree.
While we're talking about TV, or I guess TV channels, did you see about, I don't know if you were talking about HBO and Amazon Prime?
No, go for it.
So, HBO has had introduced this service maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, maybe more recent, I'm not sure, called HBO Go. And HBO Go was a service you got if you had an HBO subscription through your cable company. So, if I went to Time Warner and bought HBO, and I don't even know how much it is. I get like all the HBO channels. I could use HBO Go, which let me watch on mobile device or computer. And the big problem with that was if you didn't have an HBO subscription, you couldn't sign up. So HBO has partnered with Amazon Instant Video through Amazon Prime to take some of its HBO shows, like older shows like The Sopranos and True Blood, and bring that to Amazon Instant Video, which I think looks like a more starting to become a more compelling service than Netflix, because it's going to start having HBO shows on it.
That's a good thing.
Well, Amazon, from what I can tell in their instant video streaming, they don't have the selection, and how can I think of a parallel? They don't have a selection that's comparable to Netflix, and yet pricing-wise, you can pay as much or more to stream on Amazon unless you're a Prime member and technically streaming it for free. I don't understand Amazon's instant video streaming model just yet. I'm not convinced.
Yeah, I mean they're building it up. I mean that's what they're in right now. But this is a good step for them, because now, I mean, it didn't compare to Netflix at all. There was one or two good original series on there, and maybe a few recent TV shows. But for the most part, I mean, Amazon was the place to, or I'm sorry, Netflix was the place to go. And now that they're starting to throw more and more, services, or I guess different networks on there, partnering up with HBO, I think it's starting to become pretty compelling, I guess.
Well, they certainly have the resources to become a major competitor. Yep. I had my Roku 2 for 2 years before I really used it significantly, and I'm burning that thing down now. I use it quite often, and I'm very favorable to it. My internet bandwidth usage has doubled, but I'm still around the 250 gigabyte mark. So, I mean, in terms of whatever usage Time Warner considers high, I'm not there yet, I don't believe.
Okay.
But I know that Roku 2 crashes a lot. It's not good.
It's older.
Well, but it still shouldn't be crashing.
Well, the problem is that this stuff on Netflix is so high quality that the Roku just can't handle it.
Well, how does it handle for 3 hours and then all of a sudden it crashes and then handles it for another 3 hours? I don't understand what would be.
It gets
crashing.
unstable over time, I would assume. But I know now for like when I develop Roku apps, they still want the apps compatible with the Roku 2, but I know a lot of the apps are very sluggish on the Roku 2.
And they should be downward compatible, because, I mean, It was $79, $99 when it came out, and you don't want to have to buy a new one every year.
I don't even have a Roku 2, and I don't have any trouble whatsoever with my Roku. So I guess I have a Roku 1.
Yeah, if it doesn't have a 2 or a 3 on it, it would be a 1.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you stream on it mostly?
Netflix and Amazon Instant Videos, primarily. I have some other channels on it. I use the Plex app on my Roku to watch my buddies' shared movies. Also, watch some, video podcast on it.
Well, this one crashes, and I guess they went from the 1 to the 2 and wanted to cram more into the box than should be in there, and probably created an issue. But I have a Roku 3, and to my knowledge, we have not had a problem with it.
I haven't had anything with mine crashing.
But I also bought a TV that came with a Roku stick.
Ah, those are cool.
However, the Roku stick, it has it's a certain type in that you plug it into a designated HDMI port on the TV,
correct,
which allows the TV remote control to control the Roku.
Ah.
The disadvantage, what I don't like about it, is it is wireless only. You cannot connect it to an Ethernet cable.
Well, all those sticks are like that. The same thing with the Chromecast.
Now, Mike, let me ask you, why is that a big deal?
Well, I just am not a fan of media over wireless.
And I am not either. I have never hardwired my Roku.
Well, I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that just from general engineering approach, it's not my first choice to hook up something wirelessly. Wireless.
I'd recommend trying it and seeing what
Well,
it
I have tried it. I don't have Netflix on it or anything like that. I've tried a few things, and it seems to work. But you know what my biggest holdback is? That this new Roku thing operates with a TV remote control, which is infrared. And to me, the single best feature on the Roku is the Bluetooth remote control.
The control of the Roku makes it worth $100 itself.
Absolutely. I mean, if they would figure out a way to take the Roku and make it control other boxes, maybe even make it into an infrared converter, so that when I press a button on the Roku remote control, it then generates and receives infrared signals for another device, I'd buy it. I'd probably pay $100 for it. That's how good it is.
Yeah. I never have to point it at the TV or anything.
Do any of you use the Roku app on your smartphones for controlling it?
I played with it.
Mm-hmm.
As did I. I don't find that there's a reason to use it.
Well, I think the most compelling reason to use it is when you're typing in, searching for a program. Other than that, I would agree.
Well, there's another one. If you lose the Roku remote.
Oh, yeah. Like, didn't you lose the remote for a while?
I did.
So you used the smartphone app?
No, I just didn't use the Roku.
Oh, there you go.
No, seriously, I wasn't using it anyway. I said I went like 2 years without using it. And that was during that period. And the remote control was in a safe place. It's just a place that I don't normally look. And when I started doing some cleaning up, there it was.
There she was.
Love
safe
the Roku
place.
remote. And the new one, the 3, actually has a headphone jack in the side of it.
Has your wife ever used the headphone jack on the
No.
Roku remote?
No.
I like it.
No, she just took over the entire great room. I haven't seen her in about 3 weeks.
You're fixing to go on a fast.
I need to, based on the scale. Probably be good for me.
If you've never played with the Roku remote, if you know somebody that has one, go play with it. It's a great remote.
And by the way,
it is the standard by which all other remotes should be designed.
It was funny. We have 3 Rokus and a Chromecast and an Apple TV. And last week we have a cable box in the living room, and I was watching a baseball game, and the way that the sun was shining through the window and onto the front of the cable box, the infrared remote wouldn't work. I had to stand in the path of the sunlight to block it so that I could use the infrared remote.
Bruce, I have a question about the Roku app on the iPhone or Android. Is it Bluetooth or Ethernet?
It's Wi-Fi. It works on the same network, the Wi-Fi network that the Roku's hooked up to.
So it's not operating over the Bluetooth. It's operating over the Wi-Fi.
Correct.
Okay, that's good to know. Reason I do not use the Bluetooth on my phone. I intentionally leave it turned off for a number of reasons. One of which is battery life. Another of which is people can hack into your phone through Bluetooth. So I don't use it. And there have been a couple of applications that use Bluetooth for these neat little tricks, but I don't leave it turned on enough, and I'm not going to sit there click, 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 click to use an app to save time.
Yeah. What's really fun is when I'm in here in the house and my wife and the grandkids are out there watching something on Netflix. I bring up the Roku app and I monkey around with them from in here.
Now, Bruce, you wouldn't do that.
Yeah, I would. Andrew Zarian taught me how to do that.
Don't take any lessons from Andrew Zarian.
And for everybody's attention here, I mean, we do have a Roku app thanks to Nick here. Nick wrote the app for it. and you can download it there on the left in the menu. So if you do have a Roku,
Can't hear you.
if you do have a Roku, it doesn't do live.
It does live audio.
Yeah, it does live audio, correct.
Well, what do we have to do to get live video?
Pay for a CDN.
Well,
And what do you have to have a CDN that supports one viewer per viewer on the Roku?
No, you have to have a CDN that supports HLS.
HLS. And if you look
So
down,
what I'm saying is, if we had that service and we're feeding the Roku app with that HLS service, would you have to have enough bandwidth to? If you had 10 people watching on Roku, would you have to have a service that supports 10 simultaneous viewers?
I mean,
Yes.
the CDN will support it. It's not like what we were trying to do and turn out.
Tim, it's not Amnon's mic volume; it's Amnon's mic technique. He insists on not doing it correctly.
I know. I'm not listening.
He needs to start wearing headphones so he can hear whenever.
I did configure Ustream. If you look down there, but it's not. I mean, I'm not streaming on it at this point. But that's.
But wasn't Ustream one that could be used to feed the Roku?
Yeah, that's
it looks
why.
like it looks like garbage.
Yeah,
well,
Andrew's app.
it's
used to
better than
do-
nothing.
right.
Well, you know what? I would normally say that as well, but it's really bad. Like it's the same stream that you watch on your mobile phone. Like it's pretty bad. It's an option, but I mean, it's still pretty bad.
It's all right.
So what is Leo Laporte using for his?
Big Gravity. The same thing Stephen Haywood is using on his Roku app.
Yeah, they do high quality.
You know, they don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure about Leo, but Steve doesn't.
Hey,
Yeah, Steve's
Sto-
Roku app looks great with live video.
The who?
Steve's Roku app looks great with the high quality live stream. So if you want to check that out, you should.
What is Chase using?
The techbuzz.net is Steve Haywood.
At one point, I was told by I asked him. He said he was running it out of his house. He's got fiber.
Well, he's got 35 meg up and down.
Yeah, when he first published his Roku app, I contacted him and asked him, and I was told he was running it out of his house. I'm not sure if that's still the case or if he bought a server at a data center. I'm not sure, but at one point, that's what it was.
Okay, so I guess that's my question. Let's suppose that Amnon wanted to set up a server at his server farm to be able to stream to Roku.
Amnon already done it
No, well, why aren't you using it?
Yeah.
because it's using a lot of bandwidth.
Yeah, but it's only using the bandwidth that people are connected on the Roku. You wouldn't make it available online.
Exactly, but it is using about 800K for each person
Okay.
that connects.
not a lot.
And that
That's not
ends
a
up,
lot.
that can end, well, right now, it's not a lot. Because maybe we'll have, 10 people that will connect, if that many?
Maybe.
But when it grows, that's all
Well,
that
when it
changes.
grows, you come to that situation where you pay for a CDN somewhere else. But if you've got the availability to do it, I don't know why you wouldn't. I mean, do you pay for bandwidth at the data center?
No,
So what's the problem?
that I do not want it to get to a point where it's going to start hurting paying customers.
What kind of speeds do you have?
Up to 100 megabit. But
Oh,
then
Jesus.
but then it's going to cost me because it's burstable.
Well, yeah, well, if you go over 100 megabits, it'll cost you.
No. If I at this point right now, if I go over 10, I just lowered it because Delta Force uses hardly anything.
Oh, yeah, you could definitely
3
go over 10
and
megs.
4 and 5 megabits. So there was
Is that
no
10
reason.
megs up or down?
That's both.
Both.
With ISPs, there is no asymmetric. asymmetric. A story at the LA Times details how Verizon Wireless has started pushing the envelope or downright abusing it when it comes to tracking users without their knowledge. The company said, in addition to the customer information that's currently part of the program, we will soon use an anonymous, unique identifier we create when you register on our website. This identifier may allow an advertiser to use information they have about your visits to websites from your desktop computer to deliver marketing messages to mobile devices on our network. While newsworthy, the rate of privacy abuse revelations over the last few years makes it unsurprising. Another article about the same thing said that Verizon is going to start spying on their customers. Now, it says
I like it where
here...
they say they're going to start spying.
Yeah.
It says here that you will... Something that you would... that they will create when you register on our website. So maybe if you don't register on the website, it doesn't happen.
Now, what's the difference between them spying on you and you knowing it and them spying on you anyway?
Well, if you don't know, then it's abuse. If you know and you stay with them, that's okay. Because if they tell you we're spying on you and you say, I don't care, fine, do it, I'm staying with you, then hey. But if they do it behind your back,
Going back to the Roku remote,
yeah.
Charles is exactly right. The Roku 3 is Wi-Fi remote control. It is no longer Bluetooth.
Correct.
Didn't know that. Now, if it's where is it linking? Is it linking to the device or linking to the wireless router?
It's linking to the device, I believe.
So this is Wi-Fi, what I think they're calling Wi-Fi Direct, in that even if you don't have a wireless router in your home, it's still going to communicate by Wi-Fi with the device.
Yeah, it's like ad hoc, I would assume.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, I would assume it's just ad hoc.
And the reason they switched is because of the audio thing. What they're saying is that audio over Bluetooth works and works well, but it would kill the battery of the remote. They apparently can do it much, much more efficiently using Wi-Fi. That's good to know. I find it fascinating, and I haven't used the Bluetooth 3. The Roku 3. My wife uses it, but for as far as I know, it has worked well. The way we have our great room set up, the couch where she sits normally is at a 45-degree angle to the screen, so it's very difficult sometimes for her to get the remote control to work easily. But with the Roku, I mean, you just sit there and hold it in your hand and go for it. You don't have to worry about it. It's really funny how we become creatures of habits. Mm-hmm. I walked in yesterday, or I guess it was down there. She was watching some of that crap she watches, and she said something about the screen. She couldn't see the screen that well. So I went up to the TV, and I turned it completely so she was looking head on at the screen, and that doesn't look right. She's looking straight at the screen. Perfect shot. That doesn't look right. So I had to move it at about a 30-degree angle instead of 45-degree angle for it to look right.
I'm going to try to get you a guest appearance on Dr. Phil.
Oh, Dr. Phil would retire if he had to struggle with my issues. Don't you fool yourself, Bruce. We have it really worked out in our marriage. I can say anything I want, anywhere I want.
That's
great. As long as it's all right with her.
Yeah, well, just remember two things. Audio is not important, and hockey is not crap.
Well, I agree with one of those two. A little double entendre there, huh?
Yeah.
Steve, what you got to add to this now?
I'll be right back.
I don't watch hockey, unfortunately, and I don't have a Roku. But yes, I agree. I think being able to plug a headset into a remote is a brilliant idea.
By the way, if I don't make it back in about a half hour, call 911.
Or if you do come back, you'll have no teeth left.
I was supposed to say that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
Wah.
Are there any services that use one of those sticks or like Chromecast or any of that stuff that's big in the UK?
Yeah, we can get Chromecast over here now. It is available.
But-
and there are other Android sort of sticks that are available. They were in very short supply or non-existent back along, but they are definitely available now. Chromecast certainly, and Roku seems to be quite big. They seem to be advertising a lot on the main online store sites. You know,
I had great hope for the Chromecast, and it's just really let me down.
It's like they're not doing anything with it anymore.
No,
They just
I kind of regret. I mean, it's nice to have it, but I kind of regret buying it. It's a great little device, but there's nothing different on that than there is on the Roku.
I imagine if you like watching things that are live, then the Roku is a good thing. Or if you want to watch things at the time, sort of on demand. I don't. Generally speaking, I just watch what I've recorded on the media center computer.
Yeah, I mean, anything that the Chromecast does, the Roku does as well. And the only benefit of the Chromecast at the time was that apps had the availability to send stuff to the Chromecast. So you could go on YouTube on your phone or your tablet or your PC, search a YouTube video, click the share button, and it'll go to the Chromecast. But the Roku now does that too. I did it last night on my phone. I found a YouTube video. Instead of searching for it, I clicked the share button. I shared it to the Roku. The YouTube app opened, and it just started playing. So, unless the Chromecast, and unless Google plans on actually doing something with the device, it's just going to simmer off because there's no benefit to it right now.
Yeah, I mean, it still just supports Netflix and YouTube.
Yep.
The screencast is still in beta, and it doesn't work like you would think.
Mm-hmm. It's a good idea, and Google does this a lot. They'll come out with a device, they'll let it sit for a while, they'll figure out what works and what doesn't work, and then they'll just ramp up production on it and start releasing a bunch of apps and everything. But for right now, we
but it's
wait.
been how long?
It hasn't been that long. It's been about a year. It's not long at all. I mean, they could watch this device for 2 years and then say, all right, now we're going to start developing for it big time.
Yeah, and at that point, people say, a Chrome what?
Well, yeah.
As an example,
it's-
look how long Gmail was in beta.
Well, you got to
Or
keep in
beta,
mind they
if you
didn't
call it
release the
that, sorry.
API a year ago. The API's only been out for a few months.
Yeah, the API
There are
is
a ton more apps for the Chromecast than just the ones that you've mentioned. There's the BBC iPlayer, there's Plex, there's CastPad.
See, the problem with the Chromecast is there's no way to know that. I wish there was like an how on the Chromecast there's that home screen with the time and the nice picture. If there was like a rotating thing of apps that it had available, I think that would be good because I don't know any of those apps existed.
You did get a pop-up on the lower left-hand corner that says, more apps available. Go to the Chrome web, the web store.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's not as user-friendly as what you're describing, which I think would be a good thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad device. Don't. I don't want to sound like I'm saying it's a bad device, but if you've already got a Roku or another device, it's not really useful. But traveling with it, I think, is great. I've traveled with it once already, and when I go on vacation this summer, I plan on traveling with it again because I don't have to lug around a remote with it or a power brick or an HDMI cable or anything else. It's just a little stick and a micro USB cord.
Yep.
So.
Yep. You got Netflix, HBO Go, Hulu Plus, Pandora, YouTube, Major League Baseball Premium, Crackle, RDO, Google Music, Songza, Red Bull TV, Vivo, Plex, Post TV, Viki, Real Player Cloud, and the list goes on. But I keep it. I don't actually keep it hooked up to my TV because we don't use it much here. I keep it in my little bag that I carry my Chromebook around because, like, if I'm traveling, I can plug it into the TV when I get to the motel. Or if I'm doing a presentation in a convention hall, we rent a big screen TV. I'll plug in the Chromecast and I'll cast stuff for presentation software Yeah.
Nick, maybe it's worth taking a look at for you to start developing apps for that too.
Well, see, the Chromecast is not something you develop apps for. The apps already exist, and there's Chromecast integration. So, like Bruce is describing Major League Baseball Premium, you have to have the baseball app on your phone or your tablet and send it to the Chromecast. The Chromecast isn't an interface like the Roku is. So if I had already developed apps for Android or iOS, I could add the Chromecast compatibility. But because I have yet to do that,
Okay.
I can't really. It's not really like building an app. You just build compatibility for streaming.
I see.
Yeah.
All right.
But if you don't have one and you travel a lot, I definitely recommend picking one up.
I was out of the room. You're recommending picking up what?
A Chromecast if you travel.
And how do these work with hotels that have horrible bandwidth?
Well, if the hotel has horrible bandwidth, then it's not going to matter. You're not even going to be able to watch it on your laptop.
Right, but that's only 99% of them, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Yeah, but we're just saying in general Mike, if you were to travel with a Roku, you'd have to bring a power brick, the Roku itself, an HDMI cable, the remote. With a Chromecast, you just bring the Chromecast, and it works like that. So
I had an incompatibility with my Chromecast on my TV.
Incompatibility in which way?
Well, it caused the screen to blow out, and I actually had to reset the TV, and I thought it was an unusual thing, and I did it again, and it caused the TV to blank out again.
Sounds like a firmware issue.
Well, I don't know what it is. I mean, it doesn't do it with the Roku. It doesn't do it with any of the other devices. So I'm going to try it. I've got a newer TV up here. I mean, this TV, I guess, is about 3 years old, but I've got a newer TV up here. I thought I would try it with that. It takes a while to get used to these new devices when you're thinking in the old cable box mode.
I hate cable boxes.
Well, you do now, but when that's all you had, it didn't matter. But now that there are alternatives and excellent alternatives, I mean, it's been interesting to me to go back and watch some of these old series. I mean, I had no idea. I don't even know what in the heck got me started watching Dexter. Somebody recommended it, and it had a lot of stars on it. If you haven't watched it, I don't recommend it. It's sick. But once you start it, you get curious about where they're going with it. I mean, it's the kind of thing where I may just stop watching it or I may continue watching it. But it has 96 episodes. I mean, you can start watching and watch until your heart's content. But what's interesting about it, just like the way Netflix and others are releasing the series one at a time, is you get to see how the show evolves almost on high speed. When you're watching a show like Blacklist in real time, when you have one episode every 3 or 4 weeks, it seems it's hard to maintain the continuity and follow the progress of the plot. But when you can go back and do it all in a week's time, it's a really interesting perspective and sort of reveals many of the challenges that the program developers have to try to keep things interesting and to keep them moving.
So one of the big tech stories this week was Vic Kundrotra leaving Google. Of course, Vic Kundrotra was the head of the Google Plus, deal. And what's most interesting to me is the way TechCrunch in particular, and then a lot of other websites, start forecasting the death and the demise of Google Plus, revealing, in my estimation, that they really don't understand that Google Plus is more of a platform than it is a social media thing. And of course, people who are really, big and plugged into Google Plus have been lambasting TechCrunch and putting up all kinds of memes about their demise and their funeral. And, as they write about, Google Plus being the land of the walking dead and all this kind of stuff. Do you have any thoughts on that? I listened to an interesting Google Plus Week, Dan McDermott's show Friday night, and they had some really good discussion about that. They got very, very heated at times. A lot of these articles are talking about, how Google Plus needs to quit trying to compete with Facebook. I don't think they're really competing with Facebook. I think they're doing something different myself personally. But do you have any thoughts on that?
I do.
Mike's a big Google Plus guy now.
Yeah, I'm a good expert in Google Plus. The fact is that Google had, maybe unofficially, but they had stated that they were going after Facebook. Facebook move over. The new Facebook is called Google Plus. Facebook, realistically and understandably, was in their crosshairs for sure, because even though they are different platforms, the average eyeballs, as they say, there are only a certain amount of time for social media each day, and time spent on Facebook cannot be spent also on Google Plus. So there is that built-in competition between the two. I would suggest that what has happened, that Google in certain ways shot themselves in the foot. When I first saw this article and went online to do some research, it was astounding to me how much negative sentiment there is out there for Google Plus.
Yeah.
I mean, it is ugly. I mean, die, go away, burn in hell. I mean, it's ugly. And which is curious to me, because here is a free service that if you don't like it, don't use it. What's your problem? And yet I think what happened was the answer that I was able to find is that Google very much forced Google Plus down your throat every time you go to YouTube. Do you want this comment to be on Google Plus also? And it's automatically clicked to show that on Google Plus. It also has, whenever you go into your Gmail account and you click on the wrong thing and now you've got a Google Plus account, they really forced it down people's throats. And I think that was a bad move on Google's part. Now that they're out there saying, and in fact, Jim Collison was saying to me yesterday on Dave Jackson's podcast, he is very much a Google defender and was saying some things about like some of the emotional people where it's not going anywhere, it's going to be there. Well, yeah, but they've got some PR issues that they need to deal with to get back on their feet. Now, having said that, based on what I've read and my experience in watching how things unfold, I do think that Google Plus is getting ready to change significantly, in that they have reassigned 1,200 people who were previously assigned to the Google Plus community. Well, even for Google, that's a lot of people. They're going somewhere to do something else, and I don't think it's to be creative. I think it's really a way of getting many of them out the door. That being said, will Google land on its feet? It will, but it may include significant changes to Google Plus. Now, I guess what I'm getting to is this while I ramble. I don't think the Hangouts are going anywhere, because it is a platform, like you're saying, Bruce, that has been very successful among the adopters. What I don't know is whether Google is making any money with Hangouts. Is it worthwhile for them to continue to maintain that resource? Now, the reason I ask that is it's probably not a resource that many people used, but up until a month ago, you could send and receive SMS text messaging through your Gmail account. They took it out. No announcement, no explanation, they took it out. And I think it was really pitiful for them to do it. But it demonstrates that it's the golden rule. He who has the gold makes the rule. They've got the gold, they make the rule. If you don't like it, that's tough. So I don't know what the future of Google Plus is, but I would expect there to be changes. Maybe they're good changes.
Did you comment on Eric's comment in chat or no?
I have not. The problem is they forced it down YouTubers' throat.
Yep, that's the problem.
Sort of what I just said, yeah.
Oh, okay, I just got back. But no, that was their demise when they started forcing and asking me every time I sign into YouTube, do I want to do this and want to do that?
Ultimately, it's been a good move, though, for YouTube, in my opinion. I don't like the way they forced it down people's throats, but ultimately, I think it's cleaned up comments and made it a better place.
The problem is now I cannot follow anything that happens in the YouTube comments now. It's just
pretty tough.
You click on it now it brings you to Google Plus. I don't like it at all.
Guys, just so the people in the chat know what's going on, if you're watching on Vaughn, it's about 4 minutes delay somehow.
Not on my end.
It's just been growing. And not on your end?
No, when Bruce was talking, I could see what he was talking about. like 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds later.
Interesting.
Did you do a refresh?
Yeah, I did.
Why don't you just stop and start?
When I
wrong then?
refreshed, it's working. I mean, but at that point, I'm sure I'm missing. On Bamboozer, it's perfect.
Well, why don't you
Because
start and stop Vaughn then?
Huh?
Start and stop. Vaughn.
That may mess up.
You don't have to close anything. You just turn it off and turn it back on.
Okay, that's all right. Keep going.
Yeah, Google released a new version of Hangouts app on the Android side that I think is an improvement in some ways. Is anybody else? I'm becoming more and more disappointed with my Facebook news feed, just having to wade through more and more crap. Instead of seeing, I see all these, people are recommending this video and sharing these articles, and it's become less social about me and my friends and more about, hey, I saw this, I think this is cool, you ought to watch it. And it's just, it's not as good for me.
Well, I think it'd be interesting to hear, but and you hear these things and you have to take them with a grain of salt, but I think Facebook is on the decline. Now, they may grow because of new people trying it, but as far as the diehards, I spend a lot less time there. And even on Rick's show, if I post about Rick's show, come into chat live now, we might get one person, usually none from Facebook. If I do the same thing on Google Plus, we can pick up 3 to 5 listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Going back to the Google Plus thing, Bruce, I have had horrific problems with Google Plus the past 2 weeks. It doesn't see any of my sound cards anymore. For whatever reason, I don't know what kind of update they did or whatever, but like
I had a problem with one of Rick's computers yesterday, the main broadcast computer. Now I spent like 3 hours going through checking things and cleaning it up because I could not see the driver for his AT2005 for the playback, which is what I use for the dumb monitor for his Skype no ducking. And I kept getting this pop-up from Real Audio Web, and I tried to uninstall it and couldn't uninstall it. I finally had to go to Revo Uninstaller to uninstall this Real Audio or legitimate application. And once I installed it, the driver came back. So look to see if you've installed anything.
Well, the driver's there. The sound card works fine.
This does too, but it was not showing up in Skype.
Yeah, I appreciate the fact that they are doing some updates to some things, and if you are a Hangout veteran, you know that they're making little tweaks and changes anytime they want in the Google Talk plugin, and it can create some issues. I've seen more issues with Windows updates and how it affects what shows up in my sound cards and choosing them. Also, issues where another device, another program, be it Skype or Hangouts or Zoom or Link, will hijack my audio settings and mess them up. And then when I go back to another program, I've got to totally reset things again.
Yeah.
I do have a little bit of good news. I don't know if I mentioned this to you, Nick, but according to Michael Graves, either a developer or the developer of WebRTC has recognized the need to be able to select sound cards output in our WebRTC and in the which will give us in the various services that are using WebRTC for video conferencing. It will give you the ability to select the alternate sound card for Mix Minus.
That'll be good.
You have that ability.
Yeah.
We know that you can do it because you can do it in a Google Hangout.
Yep.
But what are the other services we use that don't have that ability?
Appear.in.
That's one of them. But yeah, the ones like that don't give you the option to select the alternate, that's because they're not doing anything but using the developer API or whatever they're using out of the box. And it does not include it. You can select the input, but not the output. You have to use the default output.
Yeah, I really like Appear.in and using it as I'm available type thing. I have a room, Appear.in/Bruce Turner, and I use the Appear extension in Chrome, so I get a notification if somebody goes to my room. I get a little pop-up notification. I can go right over there and talk about whatever we need to talk about.
Yeah, I liked the service. A few of the people that we talked to had problems getting in, so we kind of moved away from it.
You know what's really funny? As I was listening to Leo, he's GoToMeeting as one of his advertisers, and he was talking in one of his recent promo spots about now they even, if you have as they talk about GoToMeeting free, where you can have a free one-on-one call. And you go to it. It is the dumbest, most dumbed down, bad implementation of WebRTC I've ever seen. I mean, it makes Appear.in look like a Ferrari, and I can't understand why GoToMeeting would throw this up just to try to. And of course, it tries to hook you in, with little ads. Now, if you'd like to have more people in the conversation, click here and you can upgrade. Just sick.
Well, there's a service. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
There's a service out there called Get IPTDL from a guy in the UK. It's intended for commercial broadcasters to be able to send high-quality audio back and forth. It's a premium service to get significant bandwidth. And the problem is not only that it's a paid account, decent account, we'd have to have $25 per account, but that's only for one direction. If I wanted to have a link from here to Amnon, audio only, it would be $50 a month.
Damn.
Now, who's going to do that?
Yeah.
And it's arguably not as good as Skype. I don't get it.
Going back to GoToMeeting, I went to that weather class yesterday, and they're doing an advanced session on GoToMeeting in, I don't know, in about 3 weeks or so. And the guy was saying how the class is normally 2 hours, but GoToMeeting flakes out within, after an hour, so they normally end the class early. I thought that was interesting because I've never used it before. But
can anybody get to Appear.in?
Yep, I'm there.
APPEAR.in.
Yep, I'm there.
I'm there.
Wow.
I'll tell you, and again, I'm a real fan of Zoom.us. They are just killing it in the marketplace. They're killing it with colleges, universities, businesses. Such a quick and easy way to create a screen capture video tutorial, and because you can record it, creates a high quality MP4 file that you can upload to YouTube. It's just, $10 a month. I mean. Mm-hmm. Why would anybody spend what they charge for a GoToMeeting account when you can get Zoom Premium for $10?
I wonder how much GoToMeeting. I mean,
it's
I know
like 30 something, isn't it? 30
it's expensive. I don't recall the number, but it's expensive.
Yeah.
By the way, you know what? I've said here before, I'm a big fan of Blink as a SIP client. It's really easy to configure. It works really, really well. And you download it from iCanBlink.com. Somehow I have developed somewhat of a relationship with the developer. And I actually get some good information from him that sometimes he doesn't post publicly. But he has posted publicly that he has released a first Mac version that handles HD audio. HD video.
Mm.
And I asked, when will the rest of the 95% of the world get this technology? And he said, very soon.
That's promising.
There is an update. When I started Blink today, it said there is an update. Do you want to upgrade? I said, no, remind me later.
And Amnon, after the show, I want you to do that and tell it to automatically update. And tell me if it works or if you get an error. All of mine would get an error. I would have to update them manually. well, that's the latest issue he and I have been talking about. There was an installer distributed with an earlier version of the software that apparently is still used with updates. And I want to get away from it because it's really convenient to be able to just click OK and update it. I suspect what we have to do is go through like a Revo uninstall to get all of the bits and pieces out of it and then install it from scratch. That may, though, cause me to lose a lot of my contacts. I'm not sure about that.
Hey, so my quick question for you on this ham radio thing. So it's like I see a frequency. It's three numbers, dot three numbers. Is that right? Mm-hmm. So if I just buy one of these radios, I should just be able to tune into that and it'll work?
Well, it depends. You have to find out what the frequency is that you want to listen to
Okay.
and then look at the specs of the radio to make sure it covers that frequency band.
Okay, I see a thing on the I don't know how to pronounce the name of this thing.
The Skywarn that I saw was, as I recall, is 144.255 or something like that.
So according to this, okay, yeah, go ahead.
Now, when I started playing with it, I couldn't figure out how to work it. Then I found a direct entry mode instead of a scan mode and realized that you could directly program in certain frequencies. And when I plugged it in and it took it, then all of a sudden we're sitting there listening on the Skywarn repeater.
Okay, so I'm looking at this right now. This one, it says frequency range 136 to 174. So that's the first set of numbers, correct?
That's VHF, yes.
And then the back, and then slash 400 to 480.
UHF.
Now the problem is this repeater is 550.
It won't hit it.
Damn it.
But take that brand name and go to their website and find out if they have another brand or another model of the radio that might cover that frequency band. Also understand that this one is a transmitter and receiver. You may be able to find a receiver on that frequency for next to nothing. Unless you're going to transmit, you don't need a transmitter.
True. Yeah, I don't necessarily want one.
Only reason I bought this, my wife would like to become a ham only for the purposes of radio. And when I was in a group, actually a broadcast radio group, they were talking about how awesome a deal this thing was for the price. I mean, because these things can go up to over thousands of dollars or something like that. And so anyway, these guys were mentioning it, and I bought it because I figured she could play with it. Well, the fact of the matter is, if there were emergency, I really couldn't care less about licensing. And reach somebody on a radio, I'm going to start talking my heart out. But the point was that for $30, I figured it was just fun to play with and see what we could do with it. And she's really enjoyed being able to listen directly to the repeater for Skywarn.
Nick, why would you want to listen? I thought you need something that you could talk back to them if you're...
Oh, yeah, but I'd have to go get my ham license.
Okay, yeah.
Jeff is a ham. He says that Skywarn 144 is in the 2-meter space that only requires a technician's license. But he said 550 megahertz is not even in the licensed ham spectrum, so make sure that number is correct.
Yeah, let's see. I'll post a link. Yeah, so if Jeff, if you want to click on that, scroll down to the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The 9th page has a chart on it, and I'm in the New Scotland / Albany transmitter, which is the second one down, and it's 16.2.550. It's the only one that. Oh no, there's another one that's in the 500s.
Did you say 162.550?
Yeah.
162 is the frequency, not 550.
So then, but if I look at the back, it says 136 to 174 / 400.
162 is between those two.
So then what's the / 400 to 480 megahertz?
That means it also covers UHF. That's the UHF frequency range. It's a dual band radio.
So this will or will not work?
Well, I haven't looked at that frequency yet. I'm pulling up the PDF now, and you said scrolled.
Ninth page. There's a colorful chart. You can't miss it.
It's taking its time loading, so stand by. Come on, one.
Oh, okay. So Jeff says it will work. That's good.
Yeah, it's 162 is the primary frequency.
Oh, see, I thought that the thing said 136 to 170, whatever, /, and I thought the represented after the dot.
That's 162.550. That's 162 megahertz, 550 kilohertz.
Okay,
that's that's like $162.55.
So I can buy this then?
Yes.
All right, I'm going to pick one up.
If you get it from Amazon, if you don't like it, you can send it back.
Yeah, it's only $28 too.
Yeah, that's I think what mine was.
Very, very inexpensive. And then I could always talk if I wanted to go get my license.
Jeff, answer that. I don't know the answer. I'm assuming so. I don't know how these Skywarn repeaters work. I know that there is a certain decorum or protocol you have to follow. Not just anyone picks up. I hear them saying, and maybe my wife, if she's still listening instead of watching that mess on TV, maybe she could. But I think what happens is maybe at some point you kind of barge in and say, this is Nick Craig, ABC 123. There's a tornado on the ground here. And then the moderator per se comes along and says, Nick, would you please take the floor and elaborate on that or something? I don't know how the protocol works, but to be able to transmit, you do have to have a license.
Okay, so you cannot transmit legally without a license. Okay,
correct.
So what?
Cannot
so
even
what?
Press the button.
Okay, so but I can later on with this radio get my license and then transmit if I needed to.
Yes, if you're close enough to a repeater, it would be
which I am.
Well, do you know where the physical tower is?
It says it covers the Capital District.
Okay.
Which is where I am. I mean, if I search this frequency, will I get let's see, I see a station name. So if I search that, it should tell me the range, right?
I don't know.
Oh yeah. Is it this? It's the same as the weather radio frequency. Let me look. Hold on.
And if it's a local repeater, if there's good coverage from the local repeater, it's as if you are on a high power radio talking in the old days, because their FM technology and FM either works or it doesn't work.
So, for example, I have a NOAA weather radio, and it's got the weather radio thing built right in. So, I don't think that. Maybe I don't need one of these then.
Actually, I don't think this is the same. I don't think this is the right frequency. I don't think this is a transmit-receive frequency. I think that this is the NOAA weather radar.
This is the NOAA weather. Yeah, because WXL34 is the thing I listen to.
Right. That's not the same thing. This Skywarn thing here is a ham frequency.
So I wonder where I would find that.
Well, it's interesting because this document is labeled Albany Skywarn.
Correct. And I Google searched it, and that's what came. Okay, here we go. Albany County Amateur Community. Oh, God, this website's horrible. There's a freaking picture right in the middle of it. Okay, so Albany County Emergency Management. The primary Skywarn repeater for Albany. Here we go. For Albany, Rensselaer, and Schenectady counties is K2C2 repeater 14.5.199.
145.199.
So they do have one for Skywarn as well.
That should be the one that you're interested in with that little radio.
Okay. There's a bunch of different things on here.
And my wife says that you can listen to Skywarn at Broadcastify. A lot of these, there are websites that stream this information over the internet. Like you can even get your local police departments and things.
Yeah,
streamed.
I have an app for that as well. But if the power goes out and stuff, kind of hard.
Good morning. This is the weather radio calling.
Oh,
hello.
How's it going? How's my audio?
Sounds like you're on a telephone.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm on a headset on Skype on my iPad.
Raise it some. Can you raise your mic level?
Hang on. I'm not sure if I can find it within the app.
I'm trying to do it
here on this little bandwidth as possible here.
Yeah, you talk about ducking. Oh.
Is it bad?
Well, yeah, but it's not your fault. It's Skype.
It's audible.
There's nothing you can do.
Well, maybe I'll switch to Skype on the.
No, it's fine.
Instead, sorry.
It's fine as long as we don't talk at the same time. Don't worry about it.
Okay. So good morning, and I I have been having bandwidth issues here, trying to work out getting more. I say bandwidth. It's not bandwidth. It's a cap issue. I misunderstood when I first moved into this apartment. I thought I had the landlord said that there was a speed issue. So I took that to mean, so it's the service that they have doesn't have very high bandwidth. Well, it turns out it's not a speed issue. It's a cap issue. And the local cable provider here has caps. And it's fantastically expensive. And you go over the cap and you're going to kill it. So I'm paying for the overage. The first week I was here, I just used it, watched stream videos and all that, and found out after the fact, it's a cap. So
where's the
bumping
cap?
up the service. Go ahead.
Where's the cap?
It's like 100 gig.
That's pretty high.
And,
I know.
well, I'm sharing it with another family that lives upstairs. So we paid, he bumped it up an additional 50 gig. But I'm looking at, there is one provider in town that has unlimited service. And I'm trying to see if I can get that service in the house here, because they may be moving folks upstairs, so I'm gonna have to come up with an alternative. Plus, I want to be able to just use it and not have to worry about the cap. So,
Well,
because
how are things?
Pretty good. It's been busy. I tested and got my CDL, so I'm done with that, and am working on learning different routes. And this week starts the real intensive familiarization training, where we have a whole day on Denali State Park. We have a whole day on Fairbanks and all the surrounding attractions that we'll be going to. We'll have an overnight next weekend in Denali State Park, where we'll all ride down together and learn operations, because we'll be taking people from Fairbanks to Denali. That's one of the main runs that we'll do, which is like an all-day there and back. It's about 8 hours to go both ways. And then there will be opportunities to take what they call highway trips, which is working with the same group of people over 2 or 3 days, where you'll take them to one of the lodges in the Yukon, or down in maybe go as far as Anchorage, and maybe even pick people up at one of the ships down in Seward or Whittier. So yeah, it's been very interesting. I've been out on my own a couple of times, with nobody with me, driving a 45-foot coach, and it's just driving around. I go up in the hills around Fairbanks. You can see the Alaska Range, and it's just fabulous. Sometimes you can see Mount McKinley off in the distance, which is like 70 miles away.
Can you see Russia?
You can see Putin,
Okay.
and his, walking around with no shirt on is really something. But yeah, I don't know that I'll get to the West Coast. There's really no roads from here, unless you go south and then go across. So that we'll spend most of our time in central Alaska and maybe into the Yukon and down towards, maybe go as far as Skagway. You can get to Skagway by road. Can't get to Juneau by road. There is no, we have to either fly in or take a ship. Can't can't get there from here.
So do we have specials?
I can work on it. I haven't done it yet.
I don't worry about it.
Slacker.
I just woke up at like 6:45 and tried to shovel a bunch of coffee in me here. But we just went to a concert last night. They had a concert. Chick Corea and Bela Fleck were playing locally, which was just amazing. The things we've seen here that you would think this is the furthermost big city, furthermost north big city in the United States, and you would think that things would be limited here. It's just amazing how much has changed. But here is world-class musicians showing up here and doing a concert in a high school auditorium, which is a very good auditorium, very modern, and just remarkable. Just to get that kind of an act flowing through here. But yeah, it's been good. I'm out riding my bicycle around. I haven't ridden it to work yet, but I'm working on it. I've got to get myself acclimated. I ride that thing, I come back, and the next day I can't move. I haven't ridden the bicycle in so long.
So do they have a Hard Rock Cafe in Fairbanks?
No, they have very few chain restaurants. But they do have Walmart, and they have Sam's Club, and they have Home Depot and Lowe's. And it's a store called Fred Meyer's, which is it's part of the Kroger family of stores, which is it's amazing because it's a full department store. It's got furniture and clothes, but it's like a super Walmart, but a higher quality. And they have free Wi-Fi. You can go over there, and I have gone over there. They have a little upstairs seating area. It's just not very good bandwidth, but I have gone over there to use their Wi-Fi. And some of the hotels that are part of the operation here, they have hotels that are owned by the cruise line lodges, and some hotels that are affiliated. And because the season hasn't started, you can go over and sit in their lobby and use their Wi-Fi and get great bandwidth because there's nobody using it. But
hey, Mike. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm done.
No, I think
somebody else was saying
Bruce
something.
was going to say.
Well, I was just going to say that the Kroger's here. They've totally remodeled two of our Kroger's. I guess you would almost call it like a super Kroger's, and both of them have Starbucks in them, and very nice seating areas with excellent bandwidth. And so sometimes if I want to just go off site, my wife's going to do grocery shopping, I'll just go with her, and then I'll sit in there and drink me, a cappuccino and, do some work from there while she's grocery shopping, then help her load everything up when she's done.
Yeah, they have both of the ones here have Starbucks in them, and a nice seating area downstairs. The newest one has a huge seating area upstairs, and they have a full service deli and lunch area where you can get hot food, and it's remarkable. It's just everything is more expensive here, so you have to pay attention to prices.
Mike.
Sir.
Technical. Do you hear Spence's S's? Is that what the de-esser will fix?
Well, I don't hear it as well here as you're going to hear it there.
But is that what a
de-esser gets rid of shh, where you should hear s?
Oh, interesting.
It's where the S's really jump out at you. All it is a filter, a frequency filter that cuts down on the content at that particular frequency. It's not magic.
Okay. I just never. I mean, it may be my hearing because I can hear his S's really jump out at me.
Well, I understand, but by the time it gets through the stream, it's somewhat attenuated.
Yeah, I know, and it's not like
hearing.
It's not like there's something that I can do anyway.
Well, there is, but you don't want to. The hearing thing is that generally, it's not a big deal, but generally the worse your hearing is, the harder the sibilance is to hear, because it has a lot of high frequency content. You can still hear the low frequency portion of it. It's a complex waveform to some extent, but it's more high frequency. So it's not a problem with your hearing that you can hear it. Nick, going back to this ACACES.org website.
Yeah.
How the hell are you supposed to read what's behind that picture?
Yeah, so if you're on there, are you in Chrome, Mike?
Yes.
Right-click on that image that's in the middle of the screen.
Yeah.
Click Inspect the Element.
Yeah.
A little thing at the bottom should pop up.
Yeah.
And the line highlight should say Image Width 220.
Yeah.
Right-click on that.
Jeez.
Okay.
Click Edit as HTML. Hold and just delete everything in there and click out of it, and then the picture will disappear.
Bad design?
You think?
Did you see it now?
I can't get it to close. I deleted it, but how do I...
I just click back onto the webpage.
Okay, good. You might want to write that up for people who want to go to their website.
I know. What a pain, right?
What an idiot. I mean,
I'm trying to figure out. I don't think that there's a program here.
Got to be. Albany County Amateur Communications Emergency. I guarantee you there is.
So I should just buy one and play around with it.
Yeah, except that there are two things I would do if I were you. If this is, but with your interest in weather, I would find out how to become a part of this organization. And the first thing I would do if I were you is volunteer to create them a website.
It's a good idea.
You will be a hero.
Could contact somebody. Oh yeah, I'll contact the president. I'll send him an email.
Absolutely, and these are usually a bunch of good old boys who really have nothing but the best interest of the community at heart. And you probably will meet some people you really enjoy meeting. There's usually a bunch of good old boys who run these things.
Yeah, so I'm just, I mean, looking at that page, I don't really, so I guess that frequency works, right?
It's 147120. You can listen, but you cannot transmit unless your transmitter has the ability to include a 100 hertz tone.
Does that little receiver do that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe Jeff knows. I was not aware that it does. They do that so that they can control better who can transmit, or possibly so that they don't get any accidental transmissions from these little small radios. The alternate repeater is 145190, which has a 103.5 hertz tone, which will be used the second Tuesday of each month for the on-the-air meeting. And I guess what they do is that's their redundant system that they use to keep it up.
Yeah, because when I went to that class yesterday, they said that during weather, normally a volunteer comes in and just monitors ham. So I guess that's the frequency that they're monitoring, right? One of those two.
Well, I mean, they're repeater frequencies that somebody's paying for. They're being donated to the club. And the idea is that if you lose the transmitter on 145190 could be down, or the tower could get hit. It's possible that these are distributed repeaters for redundancy in times of an emergency. It looks to me like there are 3 repeaters listed here. It says on-the-air meetings are 7:30 p.m. Tuesdays. Exception is the second Tuesday when they go to the alternate repeater on 14519.
So they do that, I would assume, just to test it.
Yes, to make sure that if they need it in an emergency that it works.
So I should buy one of these before Tuesday.
Are you looking in the chat, guys?
What's in the chat?
Jeff is saying that, yes, you can send 100 hertz.
Awesome.
Okay, so yeah, let's see. Get it Tuesday, April 29th. All right, I just bought it, so it'll be here.
But we really I bought it, again, purely on only... I bought it because it was less than $30, and if we didn't like it, we could throw it in the trash can. And
free money.
It. And it sat here, and we couldn't figure out how to use it, and I started playing with the book. It's written in Jinglish. And finally, I just started screwing with it and found out where you could do a direct entry of it. I said, what's the frequency? I dialed it in. Boom, it started working. It will fool you because they don't transmit all the time on those frequencies. They only transmit when they have something to say.
Yeah, so they do it every Tuesday, I guess, here.
I would suspect that the best time to test it would be Tuesday at 7:30 p.m.
And the first Tuesday of each month, which would actually be next Tuesday, they have a... Actually, no, Tuesday still. Never mind.
It's 147.120 is where you would go to listen to the meeting.
Okay, so I'll get this Tuesday, and I guess I'll have to contact you, because you already set one of these up.
It's a mode button on it. When it goes to the point that you mash the number key and you see the frequency change, then you're in the right mode. I did it real quickly. I don't know the procedure, but it's really easy to figure out. Just buzz me when you get it, and if you don't figure it, I think you'll figure it out in 5 minutes. If you don't, then buzz me, and then I'll get hers and figure out how we did it. It's not really intuitive, but it's a button, seems to me like in the middle of the unit to the left side of the screen. It's like a mode or something like that. It doesn't say directly enter the frequency here.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Minorella. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Yeah, this will be fun. Give me something to do.
Somebody put a link to this radio in the chat.
Yeah, I'll throw one in there. How do you pronounce the name of it, Mike? A Bofang?
I have no idea.
Bofang, something like that. I don't understand how it's so cheap.
Chinese.
Yeah, I mean, this thing isn't like. I mean, there's a lot of buttons on this thing for it being so cheap.
It is an amazing piece of equipment for $28.
I think. It looks like it's sturdy. It's got a clip on the back and everything. It's not like
rechargeable battery.
Yeah, I mean, damn for. And it comes with a little ear set too.
I don't know if that's any good. We leave ours turned on.
It's so cheap because they have the Chinese spy chip in it.
You know, a year ago that would have been a sarcastic remark. Now you have to wonder.
We were suspicious of that. Remember the whole controversy with the what's the manufacturer that makes routers that was copying all the Cisco code? I'm trying to remember the name of the company. Highway.
Netgear.
Yeah, Highway routers were they're owned 50% by the Chinese military, and they were producing routers that would. The lawsuit actually found code with the Cisco programmers' notes in it in the Highway routers. They were just taking it, copying it, and didn't care. But they were suspicious that there was some type of backdoor chipset in there that could go in and monitor. And it turns out there was actually a TV show about it where they found it was a fictitious Chinese company that did that same thing. It was an episode about that. Kind of interesting.
Listen to this, guys. Yesterday, AT&T, this is from last week, AT&T announced it would examine 100 cities and municipalities in the U.S., including 21 metropolitan areas, for introduction of gigabit fiber. By the way, Raleigh-Durham is one of those that they are coming to, they announced. But many were quick to note that AT&T has promised nothing. Carl Bode at DSL report.
Bodie.
Huh?
Carl Bodie.
Went so far as to call AT&T's announcement a giant bluff. Ever since Google Fiber came on the scene, AT&T's response has been highly theatrical in nature.
Agreed.
What AT&T would have the press and public believe is that they are engaged in a massive new deployment of fiber to the home service. What actually happening is that AT&T is upgrading a few high-end developments where fiber was already in the ground. These users were previously capped at DSL speeds, and pretending it's a serious expansion of fixed-line broadband. It's not. At the same time, AT&T is promising a massive expansion in fixed-line broadband, they're telling investors they aren't spending much money on the initiative, because they aren't. AT&T's focus is on more profitable wireless. Gigapower is a show pony designed to help the company pretend they are not being outmaneuvered in their core business by a search engine company. So it's like they already have it. All they do is they're turning a few screws to make it a gigabit.
It's all about positioning.
Yeah.
It's all about maintaining a public image.
Yeah, but the stupid thing is, if they don't deliver, and RST Fiber comes here and delivers, or Google comes in here and delivers, where's that going to put AT&T?
Where are they now?
No,
Amnon.
Yeah.
What you have to understand about corporate enterprises in the United States, they operate on a 90-day cycle. if they can get 90 days of investor piece out of an announcement like that, they'll take it.
Yeah, it used to be a 1 year cycle where the profitability over 1 year was important. Now it's 90 days where people's jobs are they make and break a CEO's job and review them every 90 days based on the quarter. If they make a quarter and there's an effort, let's make the quarter, and then oh, now we have another quarter. Let's make the next quarter, and it's just that's the mindset.
Hey, Spence.
Yes.
You heard me say RST Fiber.
Yes.
You heard about them?
No.
It's a company from somewhere in the western part of the state. Forgot the city. But a small city. And they're saying that they quietly laid out fiber.
Oh, I do remember this, yes. Yep.
Now, can they really bring 1 gigabit wirelessly?
Yes. It's limited because you have all kinds of other issues with interference, but it is possible. It was being done. It was being tested and done in the laboratory over 10 years ago. It's part of the EVDO evolution of wireless. There were several different technologies that people were backing at the time. WiMAX was one, and there's a few other ones that once what they do is it's multiple transmissions across a broader spectrum. So what they do is they do frequency division multiplexing, and you've got just a whole bunch of bandwidth. It's like bonding ISDN channels together, but it's wireless channels, and they can just do that, and they can get a gig out of it. Yeah. I don't know how they can offer it cheaply, though. That's the part I don't get.
I guess we'll wait and see.
There is a provider here in Fairbanks that I've been reading about that says that they can deliver 100 meg over EVDO wireless to your home. And currently, you can get fiber, you can get cable internet service, and that's the one that has the caps on it. You can get AT&T is here, and there are a few other wireless companies that offer, 4G type service.
And the price?
I'm sorry?
And the price?
It varies. Most of that is capped, and it's going to be the same kind of thing you'd see with a smartphone service.
Which is how much?
$59 a month.
Capped.
Like that.
Capped at 100?
Capped. Yeah, capped at that 100 is the cable service. That runs about, I think it's like $70 a month for the 100 gig. And you can actually have the price sheet over on the table here. But the wireless service that says they can offer 100 meg download speed is unlimited, but it starts at $100 a month.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's expensive. That's the one thing about being up here is it takes a lot to get stuff up here because everything has to be shipped in. There's only one way to get here. Well, I shouldn't say that one way. 2 ways. It's either comes up by truck or comes in by plane.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good place. It seems like that wireless technology will be developed up there a lot quicker than it is down here.
Yeah. Well, the service. I drove yesterday. We drove up to what's called Parks Monument, which is on the Parks Highway. It's a highway that goes from Fairbanks down to Denali and south. And we took a ride up there. It's probably about 15 or 20 miles outside of town. It's got a beautiful place you can look off and look at the mountains. And I had full strength service up there on the highway. And so everywhere you go on the highways here, there's service. It's not an issue.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's been good. It's still there are still things you see that. I mean, you go outside of town and people live in these dry cabins that have no running water, or they have chemical toilets or outhouses, and they're like 3 miles outside of town. So it's an interesting place.
Why is there no way to build a septic tank?
No, it's got to do with the temperature and
Oh,
the
yeah.
permafrost, because they can't. It's very difficult to drill a well, and you have to drill down through the permafrost and drill very deep, and then you have to protect it from the cold in the wintertime. So everything has to be super insulated, and so people have dry cabins where they go and either have water delivered or they go get water themselves, and they'll have a cistern on the at the house, and where they'll store fresh water and just use it on a limited basis. Some of these cabins are gorgeous. It's unbelievable. They have electric, they have telephone service, they'll have everything except for city water or a well.
Wow. Wow. You have running water there, right?
Oh no, we're in the city.
And what? Yeah, but the city. I mean, the weather doesn't differentiate between a city and rural.
No, it doesn't. But it's like Fairbanks has a power plant that they have buried.
No,
steam.
I'm talking. Did you look at anything? And you're handy, and you like all these things. Did you see how? I mean, how are the pipes insulated in the wall, or all the way from
where we're staying? It's a house with a basement. We're in the basement apartment, but there's another shared space where this house is heated with oil. It's just like you'd see. It's modern. This house has been modernized. All the plumbing has been updated, but it's upstairs. Everything they try to run all the plumbing through a central chase instead of running along the walls. It's run inside. I was talking to I was talking to a contractor the other day. I said, "So what do you have to know to build here?" He says, "Sadly, there aren't that many building codes. If you go outside the incorporated city, you can put two boards together and live in it if you want. There are no building codes. It's just wide open. Inside the city, there are, but he said there will be builders that will come up from the lower 48 and just build and not realize until the wintertime that they haven't insulated enough and the pipes will freeze. So they have to pay attention to it. 50 below is, can you imagine how hard that would be to deal with?
So people up there are actually looking forward to and if there's global warming.
Well, the other day there was a story that came out and said that the polar bears are being endangered.
Because?
Yes, because there's too much ice. Yes, too much ice, and they can't hunt the seals that they normally would hunt. They normally would hunt the seals, and they would wait on the edge of the ice and wait for the seals to surface for air. But because the ice sheet has grown so much, they can't get to the area where the seals come up for air, so they're in danger of starving.
Wow.
And it's pretty wild. The polar bear community up here is doing really well. We had a lecture from a mammal expert from the University of Alaska who gave us an overview of the mammals of Alaska, and said the polar bear population is not really endangered. It's growing.
Interesting.
Yeah. But you go to the museum and you see the display talking about the ice sheet receding and all this stuff, and it probably hasn't been updated for a couple of years because statistically now it's expanding.
It's the other side of the coin that you don't normally hear.
Yeah. Yep. And think about what it was like before we had access to information on the internet, that we would never know this stuff.
You just take everything as read, that what you heard must be fact.
Yep.
But now we know, and they don't like it.
No, I don't like it.
Listen to this story, guys. An electromagnetic pulse is a burst of electromagnetic energy strong enough to disable and even destroy nearby electronic devices. In the first few minutes of an EMP, nearly 500,000 people would die. That's the worst-case scenario that author William Fortune estimated would be the result of an EMP on the electric grid. If you do a smart plan, the Congressional EMP Commission estimate that you could protect the whole country for about $2 billion. Peter Vincent Pry, Executive Director of Task Force on National and Homeland Security and Director of the U.S. Nuclear Strategy Forum, told Watchdog.org. That's what we give away in foreign aid to Pakistan every year. He said the more officials plan, the lower the estimated cost gets. The problem is not the technology, he said. We know how to protect against it. It's not the money. It doesn't cost that much. The problem is the politics. It always seems to be the politics that gets in the way. $2 billion to protect the United States from an power grid from EMP, and we're not doing it.
It's a bargain. Of course, they're not doing it because it's all phony baloney money flowing in the wrong direction.
It's always the politics that gets in the way. Yeah, you reckon?
Why can't it be like science fiction movies where, there's a threat coming and they'd ride the secret elevator down to the giant cavern and find out that we really have built the giant weapons to protect ourselves, but didn't tell anybody.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be great?
Shields up.
Yep.
And another story here that everybody should be aware of, and just be aware. Eloy Vanderbecken from Synactive has identified an intentional backdoor in a module by Sercom used by major router manufacturers like Cisco, Linksys, Netgear, etc. The backdoor was ostensibly fixed by obfuscating it and making it harder to access. The original report, and there is an exploit available, rather than actually closing the back door, they just altered it so that the service was not enabled until you knocked the portal with a specially crafted Ethernet packet. Quoting Ars Technica, the nature of the change, which leverages the same code as was used in the old firmware to provide administrative access over the concealed port, suggests that the backdoor is an intentional feature of the firmware. Because of the format of the packet, raw Ethernet packets, not Internet Protocol packets, they would need to be sent from within the local wireless LAN or from the Internet service provider's equipment. But they could be sent out from an ISP as a broadcast, essentially reopening the back door on any customer's router that has been patched. How do you find whether yours is susceptible or not? I have no idea. I read about it, tried to I can't see anything. But this is disturbing.
Yeah, put that together with the exploit with SSL being breached, certain versions of SSL being breached, and what do? I mean, now you're talking about having independent, third-party, proprietary encryption end-to-end just to be safe on the internet.
Well,
the good news is this stuff comes out. The bad news is what do you do about it?
I know. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. All you can do is be aware.
Yep.
I'm wondering if what will it do, and if you know that you've been compromised, you can probably just reboot the router and it'll go back to its hopefully original state, but it may save it there, and when you reboot, I don't know. Intentional backdoor.
Nick, how much did you say that radio was?
He's not there.
Oh. I thought he said $28. I'm looking at the one I bought, and it's up to $36.90.
I just ordered it. It's $28.17, Amazon
I
Prime.
hate it when Amazon does that.
Did you buy it from Amazon?
I did.
It'll be here Tuesday. Yes.
In fact,
I will gladly pay you Tuesday for a
even down at the
hamburger
bottom,
to-
it says 38 new from $33.40. You might have purchased the last of the cheap ones. That happens a lot, and that's okay.
Yeah, I just clicked
I
on
have a-
Nick's link and got. What happens when you click on his link in the chat?
Oh, no, I'm getting ready to do that. I get a moose.
I
No,
can't-
wrong way.
I can't remember the brand name, but there was back when I was flying back in the mid 90s, I bought a UHF radio that at the time the price was only like $350 and oh, that's incredible that it's so cheap. Oh my gosh, $350 compared to buying what would have been like a Motorola radio would have been like $600 or $700. And I bought it for it was a Japanese manufacturer, it wasn't Chinese at the time, and it was really well made. I can't remember the brand name. Still have it, but it's a UHF radio for specifically for aviation.
It's available there, Mike.
I know, but the one I'm looking at is a different model.
Oh,
This one is a UV5RA. Mine's a UV5R.
Which, oh, are we still talking about radios?
We're back to talking about radios.
Yay. So, the 5R... How did you order a 5R?
I clicked
he
on the
didn't.
link.
He was looking and he saw that it was $30-some. He said, "I thought
I was
Nick
just looking
said
at price.
28." But
They don't even sell... Oh, no, they do sell the 5R. The 5R is $40.
$36.90.
Yeah.
I paid $28.
Oh, so then you have the same one I have.
No, I have the U5R. UV5R.
What's the difference?
I'm looking. I don't see any difference yet.
So, Bruce, you ordered one.
I did. I thought, why not? I mean, for the price, you have just a little emergency, backup for
Yeah, you can
whatever
always
reason.
listen. You don't have to communicate. You can listen.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suspect, I don't know this, but I suspect that the 5RA is probably a newer model.
It says more. It's got a better case and more rich and enhanced features.
Right.
And the screen is different. That's about all I can tell.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't spend the extra $10 for what I cannot see as any perceived difference.
Yeah, the frequency range is exactly this. Oh, actually,
It's amazing. They have the speaker, handheld speaker microphone for $785. Amazing. You can dump this thing in your pocket and then have that clipped to your collar, and you'll be all set.
Yeah. So, is Jeff still here?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
just posted in the chat about
okay.
this chirp.
So, I wonder what it takes to get your license.
you need to get in touch with the local ham club because they are the ones that conduct the tests.
Well, I just mean in terms of like, is it a hard test or is it something
Written
that's
test. No, Jeff said
it's just
that-
something they give to everybody?
said you could send it. Yes, no, they write a new test for every person. Of course, they give it to everybody.
No. I mean, like, it's not like a hard test where it's basically if you take it and you like do some type of studying, you'll pass it. That kind of.
Yeah, he said there was an online resource you could take, and that if you spent the
Okay.
time and studied it, you'd fly through it.
So you don't have to do Morse code anymore?
No.
See, Morse code was the easy part for me.
Well, you were a listing post guy, so that's easy for you.
So the Jeff said that you can pass the technician class exam with a few hours study, and Doug says it's not hard. Well, on top of all that, Nick is a math expert, so he thinks logically when it comes to these things.
So Jeff's talking about Chirp software, which I just looked up, which is a programming channels and tones.
Yep.
How do you hook it up? Like USB or
It's a USB cable. I'll put the link in the chat for.
you have to buy the cable?
$6.55.
I think it's a standard cable.
Oh, it's standard? Yeah.
Yeah, he says that it's
There's the
Chirp
cable.
software with USB programmable cable on Amazon.
Oh no, it's not standard. It uses the microphone and the headphone jack to do it.
But Nick, I don't have that. I haven't done that.
I guess I could order it later if I need it.
Yeah, just get it and play with it. And if you like it and you're in range of the repeater and everything
I'm
works
definitely
fine,
in
you
range
want
of
to
the
go
repeater. Yeah.
Well, but if you like it and you want to go further with it, then you can order the rest of the stuff.
Cool. It gives me something to do now.
Yeah, I mean, this would be a cheap little radio to throw in your bug out bag, right? If things get really bad.
Sure, and Doug makes a good point that if you get tied into the club, bunches of people over there will have a cable you can plug into and program it, and they'll probably do it for you.
See if there's an Albany Ham Radio Club.
There's one in every. I'm sure.
Yeah,
Albany
they're
has
everywhere.
one.
Let's see.
They're
Yeah,
like
the
them
Albany
rats.
Amateur. It's K2C2. Oh, I'm sorry. It's K2CT.net. The Albany Amateur Radio Association.
There you go.
Sign them up.
There we go. Oh, and they do flea market.
And what I think you will find, just like with these woodworkers guys that I used to be tied in with,
They're
some
helpful.
really quality people.
Oh, I'm sure they are. I think my grandfather was a ham radio operator. Should probably call him.
And guess
Hey,
what?
Mike.
They need a new website too.
They do. I emailed the other guy and said that there's a problem with the website. There's a picture in the middle.
With Chrome.
There's probably a lot more problems. This is
I mean,
only
you couldn't
what
even
you
read the
encountered.
page. Oh yeah, they have a Facebook. Oh, the 43 likes on their Facebook page. Looking good.
Wow.
Hey, Mike, not to change the subject, but I did want to just run something by you. I'm sure you know all about this. But
I know everything about everything, Spence. Just hit me.
Hey, see, I watched a really good documentary about Muscle Shoals.
Yeah.
Have you watched that one yet?
No, it's strange you bring it up because I just this morning looked it up. It was on PBS yesterday, and I missed it.
Yes, we watched
and
it.
I'm thinking about buying the DVD.
You'll love it. I mean, they don't go too deep into technology, but it's just the whole recording studio thing, and they do talk a bit about different bands that came through and different innovations and just but the whole producer side. Anybody would enjoy this because it just mentions it talks about bands that everybody knows. You know, Aretha Franklin, talking about Percy Sledge, and then getting into just other groups that are just Leonard Skinner and just it's just amazing. If anybody can watch it.
Dwayne Allman, the Rolling
Allman
Stones,
Brothers.
a lot of things recorded there. You know, the thing that bothers me about these documentaries is, like anyone else, they take some licenses with things that they report. There are actually two studios. There's the Muscle Shoals studio, and there's also the Fame studio. And I think it was in like 1979 they relocated to the new studio and abandoned the old building.
They cover it all in the documentary.
Right, but
They
a lot of people don't.
How they broke. Yep. But it was the studio band called the
Swampers or something.
Yeah, but people would come in thinking they're going to go down there and it was going to be all black musicians, and it turns out the studio band was all white guys, local white guys. And
Dwayne Allman was a studio guitarist.
Just a fabulous documentary. Anybody who's interested in music and recording and history, it's just, I got to find the exact name of the documentary. I don't remember exactly what it was.
It's called Muscle Shoals. If you go to Amazon.com and type in Muscle Shoals DVD, you'll get it.
So just to give a quick background, it's back in the 60s, there was a recording studio down there that, in Alabama that had brought in, it was some local talent. Percy Sledge was the guy that worked picking cotton and had a great voice, and they brought him in and developed him as a talent and then sold. They were trying to work with other record companies and they weren't successful, and just kind of by chance matched up with, I can't remember who it was they matched up with, but it was just a story about how they created this incredible sound, and all these other artists and bands would come down there because they wanted to record there. It was just this little backwater town getting away from the big music business and could just produce incredible sounds.
But that's the way studio business operates. Someone goes into a studio and has a hit record, then everybody in the area wants to come in and record in that studio thinking the studio is going to make them successful.
Yep. But
and really, to some extent, that's true.
Local producer had the talent available there to just do background that made these people successful. Aretha Franklin was trying to work with CBS Records and just didn't get anywhere and wasn't selling any records, so they basically let her go. And she came down there and worked with this studio, and that's when she produced Respect, and all these other songs came out of the studio.
Rodney Hall.
That sounds familiar, yeah.
Yeah. See, Rodney was the main guy, and he and I are friends on Facebook. He's one of the main guys.
Yeah, really amazing.
He's buddies with several of my buddies. I've never met him, but I mean, it's the problem that you run into in later years is that these studios, one of the things that people like me who are interested in this sort of thing want to know is, give me a list of the songs actually recorded here. And unfortunately, a lot of these guys lie. This is like, for example, whenever I went to London and went on a walking tour with a tour guide over there. He took us to Trident. It was either Trident or Olympic Studios. I think it was Trident. And he says, this is where Queen recorded A Night at the Opera. And you can imagine my surprise when about a month ago I learned that Queen's A Night at the Opera was actually recorded at a studio in Wales. It was not recorded in London. But the fact is that the truth turned out that the backing tracks were in fact recorded in Wales, and then they took the master tapes over to Trident in London and finished doing a lot of the overdubs. The problem now is songs generally are not always recorded in a single recording studio. They can be recorded all over the world. There's a big industry now where Amnon could go into a recording studio in downtown Raleigh and make a song, send the song over the internet to a drummer out in L.A., and he'll overdub the drum part from his house.
Hey, while we were on last week, we talked about Pandora's Promise. Did anybody in chat have a chance to watch that?
That would be good to know. I doubt anybody did. I
did.
Did
Okay.
you really?
Great.
I did.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Good.
I thought it was extremely well done. Professional, balanced, not too heavy either way, but with a lot of good factual information. I'm glad I spent the time watching it.
It's definitely a good one.
Yep.
On Netflix, too, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is on Netflix.
So, Nick, I posted a little link in there. Four screws off the back of your C720, and you just unplug the 16 gigabit SD thing that's in there and plug this 128 gigabyte one. And it's really
cool.
simple. Yeah, you just have to make sure you have, you create the USB restore
Okay.
thing. But yeah, if you of course you violate your warranty.
Oh no, my warranty on my $150 laptop.
Self-destruct.
Thank you, Amnon.
So has anyone had any XP experiences in the past week?
Oh, I have.
Yes?
All of my XP machines blew up.
Okay, Nick.
Everything keeps on working.
I don't believe you.
Huh?
I included one of my
Again,
XP machines, and it took about an hour for it to get away from 100% CPU. I still can't figure out what was running, but after it finished updating whatever it did, it returned to normal.
Wow.
Yeah, and you say stop sending me. I stopped automatic updates.
Steve,
Yes.
were you saying something?
I was going to say, yes, I've had some more problems with XP this week. The person that I've been trying to help with it, he's got an office with 2 machines and he wanted to go to Windows 7. So he's now bought 2 Windows 7s. Can't upgrade to that, so he's got like accounting software in Microsoft Office and everything else. Moved office in the last 2-3 years about 2 or 3 times. Can't find his disks anywhere, hasn't got any software, hasn't got this, hasn't got the serial numbers, blah, blah, blah. So he's just been out and spent another £400 this week on 2 versions of Microsoft Office, on a backup solution because he didn't have any backup for his business. So, yeah, it's been a very expensive a couple of weeks for him. And I think he's looking at me as if to say, blimey, you're really stretching this out a bit. I said, well, you know, it's your business at the end of the day. If it goes down or gets hacked because you haven't backed it up properly, then your business is dead, isn't it? So is it worth spending £400 now or not?
I don't really have a lot of sympathy for people who don't hold on to their discs.
Well, it's the sort of thing that got sort of put away in a box somewhere, and then somebody probably opened the box and said, "Oh, this is just some music CDs in there. Check it out."
Right. But my point is that if those discs had been 100-pound notes, he would have taken care of them.
Absolutely. But the problem is, it wasn't just him personally sorting out. It was several people sort of rooting through things, and he's not going to make that mistake again now.
Yeah. I'm not saying I haven't lost a disc before, but I'll tell you, once you do it, it'll break you of doing it.
Well, he's had to buy 2 new Windows 7s. He's had to buy 2 Microsoft Office, a NAS drive, and backup software.
So, well, you know that Microsoft has also ended support for Office 2003.
They're going to.
He's got 2007. I said to him, if you're happy with 2007, there's no point going to any further one than that. I mean, you can go to 2010 if you want.
2010 was better than 2007 only because 2007 was like Windows 8. It was a transitional.
Actually, I would say that he should have bought 2010 because it'll be supported longer than 2007 will be.
Yeah, well...
that's the only thing I can think of.
It's he was trying to get the cost down for him as well, so it's spent an awful long time online trying to find the best sort of deals and prices.
Theoretically, he has at least 4 years for 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, you don't really need support on that either.
I agree. I mean, I'm not changing. My main one is 2003, and I'm not changing. I mean, I don't know when I've done a Windows an Office update on it anyway.
Invariably, a lot of it's just bells and whistles that you don't necessarily need. I said to him, does it do everything you need now? And I said to the office secretary, does it do everything that you need? Absolutely, yes. In fact, there's loads of things we don't need. I said, well, in that case, there's no point spending extra.
I have to say again,
occasionally there are some exploits on certain file types that you'll hear about, and they'll rush to get a patch out. But
well, they didn't even have an antivirus or a firewall installed, apart from what Windows comes with. So I don't know.
Mike, you were saying?
I was saying that for casual word processing needs, if you have not tried Google Drive with Create Document, you should. The reason I say that is because I used to, in the old days, I used to build all of my computers the same. I would have Office on all of them and so forth, even though I would only use one primarily. Now I have one machine that has Office 2003 on it, and my other machines, none of them has Office on it. But my i7 with its 16 gig of memory and its SSD, which all being extremely fast, I use it a lot, primarily as my surfing computer. When I may want to write something like a blog post or whatever, I want to write it on this machine. And I use Google Docs to do it. It works very, very well. And then when I want Andrew or Nick to read it, I send them a link to the document. They log in, they read it, and they want to edit it or whatever, they just type it right in there, and it's a collaborative document.
Yeah, if you can use Google Drive, I really would recommend doing it. Office is nice, but I mean, having to export and then email it to somebody.
If you need to have something to collaborate with others.
Well, but like Mike was saying, even the point of just letting somebody, look at it and revise it or give criticism for that, you've got to attach it to a bunch of emails, and then, I mean, with Google Drive, you can actually see exactly what line somebody is on. So,
and you can chat.
Yeah, you can chat right into it as well.
All right. It's that time again.
Oh, no.
Yep.
I love Norm.
You love what?
I love Norm.
Norm!
I'm not sure he really exists. One time,
he does.
One time, Amnon told me it was a dog, and then he said, "I never told you that."
No, Norm is a friend from the Y. An old friend who just likes to listen. I hope he's still listening.
Yeah, what if you've been giving him a shout out all these times and he's not even listening?
I know. What if? Wow, you are deteriorating big time, Nick. Your picture.
Amnon, I think it's the whole Skype call is.
No, I mean Mike and Bruce are still fine.
Oh.
Your audio is stayed the same, but your video is. Ooh. Anyway, I guess that means it's time. All right. Anything else before I sign off?
No, but I would add that the Amateur Radio Club website for Lynchburg, Virginia, is as poor as the one from Albany, New York. It must be something in the water.
Yeah.
Well, most of them.
But they meet at the Lynchburg Library once a month, and I will go the next time.
Well, let us know how it goes, Bruce. I think this is good information.
Yeah. Bruce, do they also do like weekly meetings on a frequency?
I haven't. I didn't go that deep into it, but there's links off of it to go to a sample test for the license and everything, and
okay, cool,
stuff like that. So
while we were doing this, I had a chance to look at where the I guess you could. It's called a repeater, right, Mike?
Correct.
Mm-hmm. So the repeater is located on top of the Veteran Hospital in downtown Albany.
There's only one.
Is that far away?
It's like 10 minutes. It's like a 10, 20-minute drive. So
right, but you're sitting there hitting this thing with really low power, too. So I think you'll be fine. That's the purpose of Peter, is to be able to use these low-power transmitters.
Yeah, I imagine. I don't imagine. I mean, it looks like it's it looks like I should be fine.
Well, you and Bruce can let us know how it goes, and maybe
next week,
Minor LA will. Interesting. Before we get away, I just found a link to what's called the Chinese Radio Manual Project, or the Chinese Electronics Manual Project. And what it is people who are going in and rewriting manuals for Chinese equipment because the manuals are typically so bad. And so when you get your manual I'm going to post this in chat, and I did download the zip file. I did unzip it, and so far have not gotten a virus. But I'll post that.
I'd next week, if when Bruce and I get our when we get the radios, it'd be interesting to have your wife call in and talk about her experience with it is so far.
Yeah, well, that's between you and her.
Oh, it's a GitHub.
I'll have a look around again, see if I can find something for that Pandora's Promise. There'll be something eventually, I suppose.
I don't know any way to download the file. Do you know, Nick?
I don't know.
Torrents. there'll be torrents available of it, but
then
I'm a bit wary about that. I'd sooner stream it because I'm not then sharing it back, am I?
I don't even know if you can buy the DVD. You may be able to buy it.
Oh, it is on Amazon. It is on Amazon.
It is available, but I just, it's not the sort of thing I'm going to want to watch over and over again. I'll watch it once and stream it.
Correct.
It's $4 to rent on Amazon. So, if that's something that interests
You have an Amazon account, don't you, Steve?
Amazon.com, yeah. Or
And you can
.co.uk it is, but yeah.
You can stream it through their website, I believe.
Yeah, for $4.
But he may not be able to get it in the UK. I don't know if it's licensed for the UK.
Let me look.
I'll dig through and find out in the next couple of weeks, I expect. They're usually pretty hot on the new releases.
Hey, Spence,
Yes, sir.
I miss Subway.
Oh, yeah, me too.
So I think what we need to do is you need to go to Subway there. I need to go to Subway over here, and we'll be on the phone.
All right, we can do that.
That's sweet.
What are you referring to?
Subway.
Apparently, Amnon and Spence go to Subway a lot.
At least once a week.
once
Once a week.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Thanks for that link, Mike. Great find. I'm looking at the PDF file now.
Yeah, I mean, I guess once you read through that, then the regular manual probably makes sense. And I have here's a link. Well, it's on my hard drive. I don't know what happened to it.
Amnon, it's hard to believe I've been here over a month.
Yep.
Yep.
Have you scanned the moose yet?
5 months to go.
What'd you say, Mike?
Time goes by quite slowly when it's cold.
It's not cold here anymore.
Mike, what did you say yet?
I just asked him if he had skinned a moose yet.
I haven't seen any, but they say they're around town here. We've been cautioned on certain roads to watch for them because every year a coach hits a moose.
Mm.
So,
Have you eaten moose yet?
The weather here has already changed. It's sunny. We got out of the concert last night at 10:45, and it still wasn't dark yet. And
Mike asked if you ate moose yet.
I've had buffalo bison burgers, but I haven't had moose meat yet.
We have that down here.
Yeah.
Those are good.
But I haven't seen any moose on the menu yet. I had reindeer sausage.
Are they the national, not national, what do you call it, state animal?
No.
I guess you'll
it's
never
not.
see it if that's the case.
I know the state bird is the ptarmigan. I don't know what the state animal is.
All right. So, thank you, everybody. Nick, Mike, Bruce, Spence, Steve.
Thank you.
It was
a
a
good
lot
show.
of fun. And good morning to Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thank you, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tune in tomorrow at 11 for the Health In Show. At 1, it is Breaking Free, and at 7, it's the Tanya Love Show. See you, everybody.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tanya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.